Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not
We will bring the jury.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy
They
there.
got the wrong guy. The dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're getting commentary on the case. Dati mihi Anglican, please. Verbal sloppy.
That's literally not true.
I didn't ask you to interrupt me.
Is that correct?
Oh, for Trump's sake.
Good morning. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Happy Monday to you. A brand new work week ahead of us. It's all uphill from here. Welcome. Good to have you here. We have 2 trials to choose from, and I'm going to tell you my choice in just a minute. Just wait. We've got a couple things to get underway before we get too far. That music's really loud. Wow. How's your weekend, everybody? How was yours? Mine was great. Thanks for asking. Appreciate that. I had, I did an audio-video gig on very short notice on Saturday. It took about 3 hours. I just turned one down for tonight because I don't have time to get it ready today because we're going to be watching court and stuff. And anyway, and we'll let's see. Hang on, it's real government name's turn. Okay, so I pinned the wrong message then. Sorry, Kevin. My fault. I did not look in time and I missed it. Real government's name apparently won the internet today. Real government's name. You might have to submit your real government's name because it's really hard to say. I can't just rattle it off. Real government's name. Congratulations. You're first in chat. That means that we're going to punish you with internet ownership. Everything unbig related worldwide is your responsibility until we go live again. And let's see. Steph's 2x pause up. These are our questions. These are the 2 questions. These are the 2 cases. One has started this morning, and we can catch up really quickly if we want. And the other starts tomorrow. But I want to give you, it's more than just, is it started now? Let's go to that. Let's go to whichever one starts first. Because the cases are very, very different. Very different. And we have Banfield, which is the au pair case. This is a case where it has some intrigue. It has a co-defendant who will be testifying against the defendant. It has some relationship issues and a big setup murder plot. It's going to be a little spicy, but it also is going to be there's some question marks in that one. It's amazing. The Brazilian au pair case, that's the one. There are some question marks. There's all sorts of issues about investigators that were let go and shady things that were going on the police side of things during the investigation and people that were removed from the case because they weren't doing the things the uppers wanted. And yeah, it's got some questions, right? And then we also have this New Jersey case, the brother against brother, the bad blood case, where 2 brothers who were business partners, one was sort of milking the company for a little extra dough, more than he was entitled to, and living a lavish lifestyle, and the other one cut him off, and then in order to get the money he wanted, he had to eliminate the brother. And then all the stuff went to the brother's wife, so he had to eliminate the wife. And then if the wife died, all the stuff would go to their kids, so he eliminated their kids as well. That put him, because he was like 5th in line. So we've got a quadruple murder, and then he burned their house down. He did that. And then it's to not look guilty, he also lit his house on fire with his family in it. I think they survived, though. So there's that one. But it honestly, it's more clear cut. It's more clear cut for me, and I'm They both are interesting. Anyway, let's do the birthdays. Let's get the birthdays out of the way. I'm explaining two separate trials. Okay, so if you're confused, that's not all one trial. That's two different trials. Both of them start this week. One started this morning, just a few minutes ago, and the other one starts tomorrow. I'm leaning. There might be a bit of discomfort in the au pair case. We might hear a couple words we haven't heard before. I can tell you they're going to name websites that I do not recommend searching. But we're all about the spice here. I think we're old enough we can handle it. All right, let's do birthdays. Happy birthdays. Anybody celebrating their birthdays today? Greener says I'll host the other trial. There we go. What if I gave you the tame one, Greeners? Let's see. Was Banfield also the name of it? Yes, we've had that name as a headline before in a trial we followed. Completely different. Okay, here we go. Happy birthday to... Is it... Help me say this. Icy? Lucy and Michaela. Did I say Icy right? Is that right? I think it's Icy. Correct me if it's wrong. Icy? Because I'm about to sing to you, and that's how I'm going to say it. So let me know if there's a problem. I'm not seeing anything. Did the feed go down? Like no chats coming in.
Happy birthday! You look good.
Elise, what? Where's the L in there? Oh. I think the I is supposed to be an L. Elise. Okay, that's a little different. Is that your... Let's see. Hang on. I'm not sure who just started the air raid siren outside my house, but... Red Pen says, no L. I looked 3 times, so it's Icy. It's got to be... I'm going with Icy. All right. Red Pen, that's as... That's as far as we're going. Okay. Everyone, stand up wherever you are. Happy birthday is on the way. Stand up wherever you are. Take a deep breath, shoulders back, project your voice to the back of the room, blend your voice with your neighbor, and warm up with me if you will. La 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 la. Sing happy birthday to Icy, Lucy, and Michaela. And then we'll get court started. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Icy, Lucy, and Michaela. Happy birthday to you. Icy, Lucy, and Michaela. Happy birthday. I realize there are many wonderful days. Today is your special day, and there are a million places you could have been, a million people you could have celebrated with, but you chose to be here with us. The privilege, pleasure, the honor, the joy is ours. Hopefully we can turn that joy back to you, make your day a little more special. Or begin by helping yourself to free pancakes at Denny's, IHOP Village, and Waffle House, McDonald's, Tammy Dunlop's house, Andy's Grill, Bob Evans, and Cracker Barrel. Tammy's like, how did I get roped into this? Every day I'm making pancakes. No, she loves it. She really does. Whew. Yeah, Tammy's taking her pancake factory to Germany, but it's staying open. The offer is still there. All right, I think some of you have noticed that by the fact that we did not start trial this morning shows you where I'm leaning. And I am buckling up for a little bit of spice. But I think the case will be more interesting on the facts of which ones, if it's a whodunit, right? There is an alternate explanation. It's a little far-fetched, but there are other players. We're all adults here. Wonderful. Let's celebrate the rest of the birthday. I'm here for the facial expressions. There may be some facial expressions. Josh says, check mod chat. Last time I looked at mod chat, Josh said I'm going to be gone this week. Hope you guys have fun. drum solo. Hang on, Josh, I need the drum. Beautiful. All right. Which is which? I have confused you all. There's like, you guys hear that high-pitched whining noise? There's like a turbine engine fired up outside our house. I don't know what it is, or what. Maybe they're like vacuuming out the sewers. I don't know. Anyway, let me, as long as they're not hitting my telephone pole, I'm good. Let me give you a quick breakdown and tell you what we have. The trial that started this morning, which we could pick up, is a brother against brother. Business partners. Brother number one has a wife and 2 kids. He's sort of like the main business owner. Brother number 2 is the smaller business partner. Brother 2 is stealing money from the business. Brother 1 finds out, cuts off brother 2. Brother 2 wants the money, so he kills brother 1, brother 1's wife,
Just use your words.
and brother 1's 2 kids. Lights their house on fire, and then lights his house on fire as well as like cover story. Oh, they attacked us both. We just got lucky. There's that one. It's pretty clear cut. I mean that it's not. Okay, there's that. And then we have the au pair case, separate case. Okay, that brother one, that's up in New Jersey, right? I think it's New Jersey. The au pair case is in Virginia, just north of me. This is a husband who has a wife and a child. Or maybe multiple children. I have to check that. They hire an au pair from Brazil, and she works as a nanny. The nanny and the husband really hit it off and begin an affair. The husband says, I want to get rid of my wife. And the nanny's like, great, divorce, then we can be happy together. No, he's like, I was thinking something else. Instead starts plotting this murder. Well, to plot a murder, you need like a whole scenario. You need the whole story put together, right? And they go with, I've got an idea. She's the one having the affair, and she's got this twisted little fantasy plot that she wants to play out, where somebody comes over to the house and, pretends to be an intruder, but really isn't. It's all consensual. And then we'll show up and kill them both and blame it on the guy who showed up. And then it's yay. Yeah, party time from then on. So number 2 is going to be a little spicy. Here's the problems that number 2 has. Okay, this gentleman who is facing, I'll use the term loosely, the gentleman's facing these murder charges in trial number 2, the au pair case. The au pair is with the state. She has already pled guilty. She pled guilty right after he got arrested, which did take some time. It took some time for the police to figure this one out. But she is going to be talking and answering all the questions they have. In return for that, she may get her sentence reduced down to manslaughter and then also reduced down to time served as far as the penalty goes. So there's motive for her to lie. Oh, they turned off whatever that loud thing was. It was like a vacuum cleaner, huge one outside. So au pair is where I'm leaning, but that means we have to wait one more day before we can start trial. I wanted to start today. I really want to start today. So that's where I'm leaning. Also, there's one other factor that really weighs in on this. The brother against brother case was like from 7 years ago. It's so long to get to trial. Just absolutely so long. This one, the other one's much closer in time, less than half that. So I'm leaning towards au pair, if that's all right with everybody. So we'll get to do court hopping today. I don't want to go watch the intro to the brother against brother case and get sucked in and then miss the au pair case. So how's everybody doing? By the way, Samantha Terry here for the au pair trial only because Greeners will be here. Greeners, that's wonderful. If you can't handle it, you need to grow an au pair. Thank you. Which trial are we going to watch? The au pair case starting in Virginia tomorrow. Yes. Let's see. Where are we going? We were gonna go jump up to see Judge Dad, and I saw he just stood up from his bench. What's he doing? Who gave him permission to get up and leave? Oh, he just went to break. Let's back up just a couple minutes and see how his morning has been. Looks like he starts out with a bunch of people on Zoom, so let's give that a quick peek.
Is somebody here from Lakeshore, Jen?
Your Honor, as of the beginning of the year, we do not have anyone here for intake. We just have to give them the phone number for Lakeshore if they want legal representation.
Adjourn this to January 27th at what time, Jen?
I'm just looking to see if they're on the that would be 10 o'clock.
10 a.m. So you can go ahead and do that. Do you intend to apply for funding?
No, I intend to vacate within 45 days.
Yeah, Your Honor, this is actually a termination.
It's a residence.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold please. I don't want to do tenant stuff first thing on a Monday. Let's see if we can go. Josh sent me something from Warren County. Warren County Court 3. Let's see what's up with our good favorite judge.
And I think we're good on these. They're just to stipulate essentially for the admissions of medical records for both Mr. King and the alleged victim, some surveillance videos, also stipulating that the incident occurred on the grounds of a state correctional institution, the victim's an employee of ODRC, and the defendant was incarcerated at the time.
Okay. Anything else?
Josh, is this the right one?
Oh. So, I'm okay writing that in my hand. I can hand that up to the court.
Yep, that's fine.
Janet, we just talked about this for about 15 minutes. Why we're covering this case? Why we're covering the au pair case that starts tomorrow.
One other thing.
It was a choice, but I chose
Mr. King. One other thing, Mr. King, and there's no good way to broach this subject, and honestly, I don't like talking about it.
Oh, good.
But one of the things that is going to come up at the trial when we do jury selection is we have something called a Batson challenge. You know what a Batson challenge is? Essentially what that means is that if the defendant is a person of a minority race and there is a juror who is the same race as the defendant, the Batson rule is that in order to excuse that juror on a peremptory challenge, the state of Ohio has a higher burden to establish that their reason for excusing that person is race neutral. Do you sort of understand that?
Yeah.
So in order to do that, I have to ask you what your race is. And I don't like that because I don't want you to think that I am making any decisions about what your race is, but I need to have on the record what your race is.
This is interesting.
Because as you will see from the jury instructions, if you're looking over Mr. Engel's shoulder, the race of the jurors is already listed on the questionnaire. What race are you, Mr. King?
Jamaican, black.
Okay. All right. Anything else preliminary before we get going?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Let's get them changed out. We'll see everybody back here at 9:45.
So what's happening this morning in Warren County in a couple minutes? Josh tells me that Mr. King, the reason why he's talking is because this morning he decided to fire his attorney. He wants to sort of do it, on his own, pro se. So jury trial goes to bench trial, but now it sounds like they're still going back to jury trial. Felonious assault and assault are the charges. Josh says, well, defendant changed their mind to not go pro se here and goes to jury trial, not to bench trial. It's still trial here in Warren County. So, I guess he wised up at the last minute. That is what we want on a Monday. But it almost went pro se, it sounds like. We barely missed it. But let's see. He's still Jamaican. He's greener, so man. Let's see. Virginia v. Banfield will be our next mainstream trial, currently in jury selection. That's correct. Let's see, we've got just a couple minutes. We're going to watch this one today and see how this goes forward. Fills up a day while we get ready for the au pair case to start tomorrow. Can I tell you what I did over the weekend? Well, the judge just has a minute. He's gone for a minute. We'll keep the audio on, but I bought something, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Hang on one second. Let me show you what I got, if I can find it. I bought a little game. Okay, I put a link up there. It is an affiliate link, just so I have lawyers make me say that. I bought a game that's these. These are hematite magnets. They're strong, but they're not super strong. They're not like the dangerous kind. This is a smaller version. There are like 32 of them, but they're polished stones that look like. Go to one. There we go. Look like this, right? They're all shiny. Autofocus. And they click together. This game is so fun. You take these stones and you take a little shoelace, and it comes with these shoelaces. You tie the shoelace in a circle, you spread the circle out on a table, and then you start putting the stones down. Like you take turns, you take half of them, and you put stones down within the circle, and you try to get rid of all your stones in the circle without any of the magnets sticking to each other. And if one person puts a stone down, a magnet down, and they suck together and make this cool little clicking sound, they have to pick up all the magnets that stuck together, and then they just continue the game. You try to run out of the magnets first. It is so much fun. I can't get enough of this. Not a sponsor, by the way. But if you lose your marbles, this is a fun game to play. So I will say it's probably not the best for very, very young children, because smooth objects and mouths don't go together. I'm not a big fan of it for that reason, but if your kids are old enough to not stick whatever they're playing with in their mouth, this is a great game. So, and it's cheap. It's under $20. So that was cool. So you play it alone. Usually you play with two people, although you could do it on your own and just try to see how many magnets you can in fact place before you lose. See if you can get them all down without them sticking together. It's good for fidgeting. They're fun. They're really fun. So, they sound so good. It's the clicking sound they make, very small. The name again, they called it, like on Amazon, it was just called, they call it chess game, like magnetic chess, but it's not really chess. Chess has all sorts of rules with like rooks and queens and pawns and bishops. These are just magnetic rocks that sort of stick together. So let's see, I can show you what it looks like. If I can see my screen over there. Go to 3. So it's like this. This is the game. You take little magnets. The blue lines don't exist. It's not like electricity. That's trying to show magnetism, which I know, terrible picture. But you get these little stones, and you try to put as many as you can in the circle without them clicking together. And it's good fun. So thought I'd recommend it because my kids and honestly me have so much fun doing this. Well, we're waiting for the judge to come back also. There was one other thing. I started printing more stuff online. Oh my goodness. Not online, but on my 3D printer. And I printed more little dragons. Let's go here. Printed these little dragons. So it's an articulated like lizard thing. That is completely, it prints like this. I mean, you just hit the button and it makes this fully hinged. You don't have to clip it together or anything. So I made a couple of these, and I made another fidget. I'm just showing off for show and tell. I made another little fidget toy that's a star where you can shape it different ways. And it does change from blue to green when you're looking at it because they use dual color filament. So anyway, I'm loving my 3D printer. It's printing all the time. Right now it's printing some, they call it NASA chainmail because it looks like it's linked together. It's just, I'll show you when it's done. It'll take about 5 hours. But I got the FlashForge AD5X, like A Alpha Delta 5 X-ray is what it is. So wait till you figure out how to do 3D printed photos that show the image when you put the light behind them. Ooh, tell me more. That sounds awesome. What's the 3D printer brand? I got the FlashForge brand. I know a lot of them get Bamboo Labs and Persa One and things like that. FlashForge was the right one for me. The price was right. It can have 4 different color spools at once. So you can actually print 4 different colored items. It takes a lot longer to do multicolored prints. But filament's going to bankrupt you. Let me tell you, I have already purchased 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've gone through about 12. We've gone through about 12 kilograms of filament so far. It's a lot. But I love it. My engineer son is designing things and absolutely loving it, and I'm loving it as well. So, hang on, just got a burner phone text. Let me read it here to myself. Are you covering the mansion case out of New Jersey? Opening started this morning. It looks good. It does look good, Ashley. We're actually covering a spicy one out of Virginia that starts tomorrow, so we can't do them both. The mansion case is a brother against brother. One brother's accused of killing his brother and that brother's wife and 2 children, like 8 and 11-year-old children, in an effort to get money from the company business. We're covering an au pair case, a Brazilian au pair case with a lot of spice in it. It starts tomorrow. So that's awesome. Sites make the STL for the full. Ooh, thank you. I'll check that out. Lithophane. That's really cool. I'm going to try this now. Okay. That sounds awesome. All right. So no mansion murder. I know. I'm sorry. I debated. I researched both of these. I sat there and researched them, like which one is going to be the better trial. And I have a little vein of RA in this flannel, says Greeners. Why, thank you, Greeners, for preserving that for posterity. Tony, member for 13 months. RA is my new Court TV. I love it here. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Also, Kelly H comes in with a super sticker. Kelly, thank you. Appreciate your support as well. This morning, member for 36 months on the gallery. 3 years. This is the first 3-year membership mark. Ruthann, 85. Congratulations. This deserves a party sound. 36-month member. Absolutely amazing, Ruthann. Thank you. We're going to have a few more of those roll in here today, I am sure. The true OG. The most OGest of OGs. Thank you. Yes, this is the update. No to mansion, yes to au pair. The mansion, they both had like nice houses. Like if we can go back and talk about the mansion murder just for a minute. I'm going to say brother number 2, he's the one charged with murder, and brother number 1 was the one who was killed. So brother number 2 had like 3 Porsches because apparently you can drive more than one at once. I don't know why he needed 3 Porsches, but he had 3 Porsches that he was paying for, making payments on. And he was making the payments on those cars by stealing money from the company and, living a lavish lifestyle. And when the brother cut him off from the money, from the business, that's when he got this plan, apparently, to get back the money. But he had to eliminate the whole family. Mindy FS, member for 26 months. OG. Love the channel and the community. Really good times. Thank you very much, Mindy. Congratulations. When did RA start? Month and year. Well, little over 3 years ago, and it was in October, I think. So that's where it is. Trial TV Live is covering the brother trial. They're a great one to watch. Go over there and hang out with Chris and Aaron. They're fantastic. There's a third brother the defense is blaming. Yeah, I'm not sure if that story is going to stick. I mean, you've got, in a case like this, so many times all you have to do is follow the money, right? Follow the money. And it just, all signs lead to one road. Coach Hannah, member for 26 months. Happy Monday to everyone, however how happy a Monday can be. Where's our court? Are we back to court yet? Not quite yet. They're going to be coming back in just a minute. Love my grandkids, member for 32 months. OG. This family helps me through the hard times. Thank you. Oh, love my grandkids. Thanks for saying that. You said it quite simply, but the truth of the matter is this community is incredibly supportive. So many times I've either received support from you guys or watched you as you support somebody else who's going through a hard time. Just amazing. It's a great group of friends here. Cheryl, member for 23 months, one more month, and pink is my color. Best place to watch true crime. You make me laugh a lot, Cheryl. Thank you. I'm excited for next month's update. Your new color. It's going to be great. Did the brother use the money between the deaths and his arrest? Yes, I believe he did. Because it took a long time to go to trial. Man, it's like 7 years. That's a long... Like, if there's been 7 years since the murder, you'd think it would be a retrial or something. But, yeah. Plus, I'm super interested in following the shady investigation, whatever happened in this investigation on the au pair case. In the au pair case, wasn't the defendant, was he law enforcement? I think he was an officer, right? And then you've got the investigation going on and uppers wanting the investigation done a certain way or rushed or something else. Yeah, we're gonna have some spice in that one for sure. Now that he does have a fabulous chair. Judge has a great chair. I am jealous. All right, the coffee wasn't cutting it. The monster has kicked in. Okay, the coffee with the monster chaser. That is a choice in the morning, Paula Mac. I wish you luck later in the day. I hope the crash is not hard. So that is, wow, zing! It's going to give you wings. Oh, that's Red Bull. Never mind. No, don't sue me, Red Bull. Follow the money and see where it goes. The Emperor has no clothes. Yay. That's a fun one. Can we talk about what is behind his honor? There is something there. Oh, no. The white, I think that's just like the marbling of... and the lights of the courthouse mixed together. Reflection. And his chair. That's all. Love my wings. Member for 31 months. Looking forward to the au pair trial. I am as well. I think it's going to be fantastic and spicy and interesting. And honestly, not as open and shut as it might seem. Now, of course, the state, when they present their case starting tomorrow with the opening statements, they're going to make it sound like this is a no-brainer, jury. We've done all the work for you. All you need to do is check the box. That's what they want to make it sound like. But the fact is, you've got multiple people at play who have incentive to blame it on somebody else. And you have two victims, one of which is sort of being used as a scapegoat. Right? As saying, like, it was actually his fault that this happened, and he was the one to blame. And so the investigation is going to have to prove a lot of different things, including, was this a setup? Was this staged? Were the communications which we find on these devices, were they from the people they actually purport to be, or was this a part of an elaborate ruse to make us think that person was involved? There's a lot of that in that case, so it's going to be fantastic to dig into. Josh says, info on the defendant in chat for the case we're watching right now, and a photo for thumbnail for the afternoon stream if you want to use it. Thank you very much, Josh. I will look for that in mod chat. There we go. This gentleman does not look happy, Josh. If I were just to show you this. This guy is not the happiest of people, but he's our defendant in the case we're watching right now. What did I just lose? My power cord? Yeah, apparently. It's okay. I can charge my mouse instead. Give the judge just a minute to get things kicked off here this morning. All right. Let's see. Anything else we need to address? So, you know how kids say the darndest things? Have you ever heard of somebody say that expression before? Kids have like no filter, right? And on Sundays at my church, I teach a little primary class with my wife. So young kids, they're probably 6 or 7 years old. And these kids are just adorable, absolutely adorable. And we're talking to them, and one of them, we always ask them, how was your week? What did you do this week? And one of them was like, I had this party, and my mom invited, and she's naming off the families that they invited. And they said, and this people said yes, and they came, and this people said yes, and they came, and these people said maybe, but they meant
All right,
no.
we are back on the record. Mr. Angle, you were inquiring about shackles.
About the handcuffs particularly. I know he's got the leg shackles too.
Okay. My intent was for him to remain shackled during the trial. Do you want to be heard on that issue?
I'll defer to the court on the security issues.
Mr. King?
I'm not doing nothing crazy. I'm not here for I'm here for making mistakes, but...
Why do you need your hands unshackled, Mr. King?
So I can write and stuff. And plus, it'd be better for the jury to see me without my hands shackled.
He's got a point.
Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right.
All right, let's go with we'll release one hand, so we'll have his right hand free so that he can write. Is that doable, officers?
Make it work.
They say we can make it work. He's actually here for assault, right? So when he says, I'm not here to do something crazy, he's like, well, you're here because we think you did something crazy.
You can just leave this on for a second. You have it fixed on me, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fixed on you, Judge.
Yeah. Let's leave that for jury selection.
This is Judge Oda, one of our two favorite judges here out of Warren County,
we
Ohio.
have a meeting with Dustin, right? Wednesday. Other Dustin.
The other Dustin?
Familiar with that term?
This is the HD IMAX courtroom camera. They do a good job. This court does. I anticipate we're going to be seeing some security camera footage from probably within a jail. We'll get a lot of cases from inside the prison. Okay, the one handcuff's off, Judge. We fixed it. Might never go on again, but you see the judge's eyes when it twang. I think the jury heard that back in the jury room. So much rattling of chains. There's a lot of metal in this courtroom, and Mr. King seems to be wearing all of it. The judge is like, are you guys about done over there? Melissa, I don't know of a direct connection, but I also haven't been able to confirm that. We know there are two Teeps, right? We've got Judge Tepe, or Teep, depending on how you say it, and we also have the ones that were murdered by the dentist recently in the news. So he is not. He confirmed it. Thank you, Alex. I had not seen that confirmation or denial yet. So the Banfield judge was also the per judge. Ooh. Wow.
Do we have the small pen?
Do you have a small pen? Something you can't stab very far with? I don't want to give him a pencil sharpener. It's funny that Ohio hasn't figured this out yet. Tepe. We need the stubby pencil is what we need. See if I can get the sounds to work, because apparently they're not. Should be working. Didn't think Ohio was a big wheat producer. I think those are arrows. Could those be? I think. Are they arrows? Somebody in Ohio can confirm. Is that like a wheat field?
All right, are we ready to go, Mr. King?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have a court-approved writing instrument. It's not the best thing that has ever been invented, but it's what we have. You're not to pick up anything else on that counsel table other than your papers and your pen, okay?
Leave the knife, leave the gun.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and get us a jury.
Get us a jury, please. Okay, a full sheaf of wheat bound and stand direct in the left foreground. A cluster of 17 arrows bound in the center, resembling the form of... Yes, I'm telling you.
Sure.
It's a bundle of arrows and wheat. Clerk says, can you please just turn off the hot mic, because I want to tell you a joke from this weekend. And she does. Judge is a bit cranky. He's got that looking at you narrowly look. I've got to figure out what's making that loud noise. Can you all hold on for a minute while the jury's coming in? I've got to figure out what's... it sounds like, I don't know, a car wash vacuum. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing a car wash vacuum, and I don't have a car wash near me. So let me find it. I'll be right back.
If you could just use your words.
Have them send someone with more experience.
All right. It was, it's my AC. Judge is describing how big a fish he caught last week. And, oh man. Got a couple characters there in the gallery. Judge blowing kisses to everyone.
Hello, hello. Hush! I'm trying to have court. Don't raise your voice again.
All right, here comes the... nobody look. Here comes the jury. We're doing jury selection. Oh, yay. We get all the excuses.
I saw a chicken fight.
When are we going to break for lunch,
You can see it's a little bit cold. People are just taking their own seats. Uh-oh. Where's Dustin? Back and forth, back and forth. You over there, you over there. Let's get you right here. Oh, we got some red flannel. There it is, Greeners. There's your flannel shirt. It looks like the one you guys had me wear. The AI-generated image. Yeah, these look like good folks. We should be able to seat a jury out of this bunch. Oh, are those scrubs you're wearing, sir? Is that for, I bet he asked for these.
All right, push back on the record.
That can't be.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Warren County Common Pleas Court. I'm Judge Don Oda. I will be presiding over these matters today. I am one of 3 General Division judges that are elected here in Warren County. So on behalf of myself, Judge Peeler, and Judge Teep, I want to thank you for your service here today. Apologize for taking you away from your busy lives for a couple of days. I apologize that we are late getting started this morning. Sometimes no matter how hard we try, we cannot get all of the weekend baggage stowed away before we get our jury in here this morning. You're here today in response to a summons, but what really brings you here is a tradition that dates back over 800 years.
I love this speech.
There was a time in our history where the king or the government decided the outcome of civil and criminal disputes. And in the early days of our country, the British tried desperately to take away the trial by jury right from the American colonists so that the government would decide the outcome of these disputes, not the people. The right of trial by jury has been claimed throughout history, often at the point of a sword or at the barrel of a gun, so that people would control their own destiny in a courtroom. Ordinary folks, such as yourself, drawn at random from the community with no pre-existing knowledge of the law or training in the law or any knowledge of the facts, who will sit, listen to the evidence, and decide the truth. At its core, a trial is a search for the truth, and if selected as a juror, it would be your job to find that truth. When you close the door behind you in the jury room, you are the legal system. You are the government. I recognize that each of you is making a sacrifice to be here today, perhaps financially, but certainly of your time and your energy. I believe short of service in the military, service on a jury is one of the most important civic functions that we can perform. There is no right to a trial by jury without the willingness of jurors to answer the call for jury service. So on behalf of myself and the other participants, I want to commend and thank you for your public-spirited activity here today. Now, if all you know about jury service, excuse me, I'm having a little trouble this morning. If all you know about jury service is what you see on television, maybe out in California, you're wondering if you're going to see your families again before Easter, let me assure you this is not the case. We anticipate this is going to be a relatively short trial, lasting no more than 2 days, 3, certainly at the most. As my wife would no doubt remind me, first order of business is introductions. Seated immediately in front of me is my reporter for today, Dina Schlim. You will also notice that Ms. Schlim is hard at work taking down everything that we say. You will also notice that if for any reason her fingers stop moving, we all stop talking. So if she has a problem with her computer or her equipment, I won't even be able to tell you why it is that we have stopped talking until we get going, but then once we do, I'll let you know why it is that we had a pause. In my left to the white shirt is Ms. Kuroko, that is my bailiff. Much of the time that you will be here will be spent in her care. To her left is Ms. Snelling
in the red
Ms.
corner.
McCracken, right? They work for our Clerk of Courts, Brighton Smith, and they will be helping us with our jury selection here today. At council table to my right is Amy Tranter. She is an assistant prosecutor. She works for our county prosecutor, David Fornshell. Ms. Tranter, if you could please introduce yourself.
Yes, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Amy Tranter. I'm the assistant prosecutor handling the case that you're here for today. You'll notice the seat next to me is empty. That may not be the case tomorrow. I'm hoping that it's not the case tomorrow. Typically, I would have a state's representative, meaning the investigator of the case, sitting with me. For this particular case, it's Sergeant Kyle Clance from the Ohio State Highway Patrol. Unfortunately, he has fallen victim this morning to one of the bugs that is going around affecting some of us, so we told him to keep his germs at home and stay away for today. If he's feeling better tomorrow, he'll be the person occupying the seat next to me.
All right, council table to my left is Mr. Engel, who is the defense attorney today. Mr. Engel, if you could please introduce yourself and your client.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joshua Engel. I'm a defense attorney working here in Warren County and
Judge takes a bite of Oreo.
Sitting at the table with me is my client, Mr. King, who's the defendant in this case.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been summoned as prospective jurors in a criminal case. The defendant, Todd King, has been charged with the crimes of felonious assault and with assault. The basic gist of the allegations is back in July of 2024 that he caused some physical harm to an employee of the Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections while he was an inmate at a state prison. Mr. King has entered a plea of not guilty to these charges. That means that you are not to assume that any of these allegations are true. The attorneys may tell you a little bit more about the facts, and later I'm going to instruct you on the law, but at this point, I am giving you this much information to determine whether or not you have previous knowledge of this particular case, or you have a sensitivity to the issues that are involved. This is the process known as voir dire. Literally translated, that means to speak the truth. So in a moment, all of our prospective jurors are going to be placed under oath, and we're going to have some questions for you to determine whether or not you can be fair and impartial in this particular case. This trial, jury selection in particular, is going to be a process probably unlike anything you have ever experienced before. It's going to be a little strange to you. You're going to be thinking and talking about things that you may never have thought about before, much less talked about them in front of a bunch of strangers. I can assure you this is all part of the process, and it's perfectly natural for you to be nervous, excited, uncomfortable, maybe all of those things at once, because each party is entitled to jurors who are going to approach this case with an open mind, and they're also going to keep their mind open until a verdict is reached. Jurors must be free, as is humanly possible, from bias, prejudice, and sympathy, and not influenced either by any preconceived ideas as to the facts or as to the law. You're going to receive the facts from the witness stand. I'm going to give you the instructions of law. It is your sworn duty to accept and apply the instructions as I give them to you. One of the things that we're going to be talking about this morning is how you make decisions, maybe in your personal life, maybe in your professional life. There are no wrong answers, and the more open and candid that you can be, the better this morning is going to go.
Amen.
Not every juror is right for every case. There might be certain facts about you that make you unable to judge this case fairly. You might be perfectly fine for some other sort of jury. Part of what the attorneys are trying to figure out is if you have some knowledge, some preconceived ideas that you can't lay aside, or if you have some experience in your personal or your family life that might cause you to identify with one side or another. We sometimes refer to this as a prejudice or as a bias. It doesn't make you a bad person or necessarily even a bad juror. It's just something that we need to know about and deal with. Prejudice has a negative connotation in our culture right now because we generally associate it with race or gender. But what really it means, it's a prejudgment, making a decision before we have all of the facts or really any facts at all. Take me, for example. I like chocolate ice cream and I hate Cybertrucks. Those are two things about me that maybe nobody knows, but it's part of my thought process. It's part of my predispositions or a prejudice that I have about certain things in my life. That's called an explicit bias. Now, we also, though, have what we call an implicit bias. Implicit bias is the way that we make decisions about a person or an issue that is based on preferences or prejudices that we have developed over the course of our lifetime that we may not even be aware of. Implicit bias comes from things like gut feelings, instincts, hunches, all of those sorts of things. Take me, for example. My inkling might be to be sort of drawn to a food that looks like chocolate ice cream, even though it's not. I might have a predisposition because that is something that I like. I may have a negative view about something that looks like a Cyber. Apologize if you have a Cybertruck that I'm slandering you. But I might have a disposition against something that looks like a Cybertruck just because I think that they're kind of stupid. When you're making your decisions or you're deciding any of the issues that are involved in this case, make sure that there are some things that you might be tucked away in your decision-making process. You should check yourself to make sure that these unconscious decisions are not based on anything like race, religion, gender, sexual preference. That sort of implicit bias has no place in our decision makings. The questions that we have, first from the attorneys and then from me, they're not designed to pry into your personal lives. They are to discover what your view of the world might be, how it is that you make decisions. If there's any question, it usually doesn't come up in a case like this, but if there's a question that you're not comfortable answering out loud, don't blurt something out that's going to embarrass you. Just raise your hand. We'll deal with it over here at sidebar outside the presence of the other jurors. The attorneys want to hear from you, so be open and candid and answer their questions. So for everybody who has been summoned for jury duty, please stand. Our Assistant Clerk of Courts will administer the oath.
Never been in this group. Never been summoned for jury duty.
You do solemnly swear that you will truly answer all such questions as may be lawfully inquired of you, touching your qualifications as a juror, as you shall answer to God. Please say I do.
Answer to God. Wow.
The way I do my questions, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm going to focus my attention on the individuals who are in the jury box. Those 12 people who have already been put there. That is not your opportunity if you're in the gallery to check out, play on your phone or something like that. I do need you to listen, because if any of these jurors are excused for any reason and you're called into the box, my first question is going to be, were you listening as we did our voir dire this morning? I get a little cranky if the answer to that question is no, because the second question is more important. Is there any question that was asked that you would have answered to or that caught your attention? That way we don't have to keep repeating the same questions over and over again. So if I ask these jurors something that applies to you, don't raise your hand, just make a mental note, and if you're called into the jury box, we will talk about that with you. I do have one exception to that. My first question is for anybody. Is there anybody who is not still a resident of Warren County? That is a question for everybody. Everybody still lives in the county. All right, so for those of you in my jury box, if a question applies to you, just raise your hand and get my attention, and I'll call on you. Does anybody have a legal action, meaning a lawsuit, pending between yourself and any of these parties? Do any of you know, work for, or are related to any of the people that were introduced to you this morning? Does anybody have an interest in the outcome of this proceeding? Is there anyone for whom English is not your native language? Does anybody have difficulty hearing?
What?
We anticipate that this trial is going to last probably 2 days, maybe into the half day on Wednesday at the most. There is a chance that we work into the early evenings sometimes, and we try to keep the trial moving as efficiently as possible. If that's the case, I usually let the jury decide whether or not it makes sense to keep working maybe a little bit later today, knowing we'll have less work to do tomorrow. So when I'm talking about conflicts here, is there anybody that has a conflict today, tomorrow, or Wednesday, or maybe into the early evening that would prevent you from serving?
Judge, we're going to be gone tomorrow.
So we have Ms. Chambly. What's our conflict, Ms. Chambly?
I have a hand surgery consultation tomorrow morning, and then leave for Chicago Wednesday morning through Friday.
When is the consult for the surgery?
Tomorrow morning at 8:30.
All right, any objection to excusing Ms. Chambly?
No, Your Honor.
Nope.
No objection.
All right, thank you, Ms. Chambly. You are free to go.
Reschedule your surgery. You got court, ma'am.
First rule of jury service, Mr. Hazlett, the vacated chair is always the farthest away from everybody, so if you could make your way back to spot number 1.
Back there.
All the way back there.
I'm good with watching jury selection, Josh.
All right, Mr. Hazlett, were you listening as we did our voir dire?
Sir.
Any of the questions that caught your attention or that you would have raised your hand to?
Sir.
All right. So we are dealing with conflicts still. Who else we got? All right, is it Garay?
Garay, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Garay?
I have a doctor's appointment on Wednesday about midday.
Okay. Like after lunch or before lunch?
After lunch.
Okay, yeah, we'll be done by then, Mr. Garay. I'm very confident about that. All right, who else? Ms. Daniel?
I have a meeting tonight at 5:30, employee review, a staff meeting tonight at 6:30, and then another meeting tomorrow night at 6:45.
Okay, so if we clear out by 5 o'clock tonight, that'll be okay with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Get some new excuses. Those didn't work.
All right. Other conflicts?
Who has staff meetings at night?
Scheduling conflicts? Anybody else with scheduling conflicts? Is anybody on probation, parole, post-release control, any sort of supervision as the result of committing a criminal offense? Does jury service create a financial hardship, or is there anybody who has a medical condition that would prevent them from serving?
No hands?
One of the things that you're going to hear in this trial, hear some testimony, see some evidence that establishes that Mr. King was in prison for some charges that are completely unrelated to the allegations in this case. The fact that he was in prison is an element of one of the offenses. He has to be on an inmate. But other than that, what he's in prison for, those sorts of things, that is not something that you give any weight in determining whether or not he is guilty or not guilty in the case. He's presumed to be innocent of these charges, and he cannot be convicted until his guilt is established beyond a reasonable doubt. Does anybody think that they would be unable to judge this case fairly simply because Mr. King was incarcerated at the time of these allegations? All right, Mr. Smith?
Yes.
What do we think?
Well, sir, I spent 15 years as criminal investigator with the Air Force. I've been exposed to criminals, crime trials, and I do, as you mentioned earlier, I do have some preconceived ideas that I carry with me, unfortunately and a little embarrassingly, but it's the way I think.
Okay. So when we were Investigator Smith once upon a time?
Yes.
All of the cases that Investigator Smith believed to be criminal cases all turned out that they did it?
No, sir.
Okay, so sometimes we had a situation where there was an investigation, there was an allegation, turns out maybe they didn't do it, right?
That is true, sir.
Okay. Do you think that you can't give Mr. King a fair shake?
I believe I would do my best effort, but going back to your first comments of the way we've lived and our decisions and what we've done in the past, how they reflect the way we think today, I have to be honest and say that, sir.
Okay. No, we appreciate that, Mr. Smith. It's important that you be honest and candid. You know, so when we talk about things like prejudging a case or prejudice, there are certain prejudices and prejudgments that you're allowed to have based upon your life experience. There are certain things that you are not allowed to have that's not allowed to take part in the trial. For example, you may think to yourself, based upon your experiences, this is my case. Again, I pick on people from my life, so I apologize. I don't like realtors. I just don't. When I was in private practice, they always got in the way of everything that I was doing.
That was funny.
They were a bit of a pain. And I have a prejudgment against realtors. But that's based on my life experience. That means that I'm allowed to have that. I'm not allowed to discount everything that a realtor has to say just because they're a realtor, but I'm allowed to be more discerning about that. What I can't do is I can't say, you know, I don't like ladies. And therefore, anything that a female has to say, I'm not going to give. That is a protected class of prejudices that we're not allowed to have. Age, race, gender, sexual orientation, disability, all of those things are not things that we're allowed to have. So if you tell me, Mr. Smith, that you're going to immediately discount the fact that Mr. King may have done this or may not have done this, that's something we need to talk about. Where are we at on that?
Well, again, a little embarrassing, but what I'm going to say is we're here in trial, okay? He did serve in prison, so I do prejudge some of that.
Okay. All right. I appreciate your honesty. Mr. McKenzie, we have sort of a similar feeling, or what's where we
Yes,
at?
kind of similar.
You don't have to stand up. You can sit down.
My younger brother was murdered in 1994.
Okay.
I still, to this day, every 3 years, I have to go to the hearings. I have to sit there and read the report of what this guy's done since he's went to prison. May even have been in the same prison, to tell you the truth. So I got some issues with some of the laws and some of the legal system, how it's worked.
Okay.
Because he's a terrible individual. I mean, he's terrible. There is no, in my opinion, there's no rehab going on. That's for sure. Now, that doesn't mean I can't sit here, but I feel obligated to tell you, that I have gone through it, and I still go through it to this day, probably till the day I die.
So we have two issues that raises, Mr. McKenzie. That raises one issue, which is whether or not you can be fair. We've sort of talked about this with Mr. Smith about having some sort of prejudgments on the issue. But also what I want to make sure, Mr. McKenzie, sometimes jury service can be difficult on the juror. And you may have an experience in your life that makes this a traumatic experience for you, and I don't want that to happen. Do we think that my concerns are well-founded in that regard?
I don't know what all would happen in here. I mean, there are certain things that I'll admit that just make me mad, if you want to know the truth. I feel I control it. I mean, I'm ex-military. I know what to do, you know what I mean? But I can't honestly tell you that I'm not going to have feelings about certain things. There's no doubt about it. I still live with them. Been living with them for 35 years, and it'll never go away. So I'm always going to have it, We filled out the questionnaire. I'm filling out quite a bit of it, because Christmas just came and went, So I spent time with family, and I spent my Christmas day at the cemetery,
If you tell me, Mr. McKenzie, you want me to discharge you for that reason, I will.
Not necessarily. I just want to make sure you're aware of it. I mean,
that's how this process is supposed to work.
Yeah, I don't want something to come up later on and then I didn't tell you the truth. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it. Things are going along well. We have some jurors that are expressing their feelings. That's always a good thing.
Okay.
Anybody else?
All right.
Mr. Walls?
Yeah. So my brother is a prison guard in Illinois.
Okay.
I actually recently moved to Ohio and have the privilege of serving on a jury. But he was assaulted many times while doing his job. I still feel I can be a fair and impartial part of this process. But I just wanted to go on record.
I appreciate that, Mr. Walls.
We're going to release him, I think.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay, Mr. Gary?
Yeah, so initially, him being in prison, I don't have an issue with that, right? That wouldn't be a factor. But I do have family members that are in law enforcement and friends that are in law enforcement. So I think I could be unbiased, right? 23 years in the military, enlisted an officer. So I've learned to be, work at being unbiased. But, I do have this feeling towards, law enforcement, right? So that's just.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. Ms. Daniel?
This guy's screwed if these guys are on his jury.
I feel that I can be impartial, but I do think it's important for you to know as well, too, that I do have a tendency to prejudge things based upon my 25 years of experience working in law firms.
Okay.
I've worked on criminal cases, been in the courtroom, worked on domestic relation cases, and sometimes the worst behavior can be found in a domestic courtroom from generally people who might not exhibit that otherwise. And then I've seen people on the worst things of life then try to be on their best behavior to get out of that. And so I through all those experiences and times, the passion that I once had for what I did became quite disillusioned, even though I was in it for 25 years, because I'm sure that I saw both sides pretty well, worked with people who did defense work, worked with people who did prosecutorial work when it wasn't involving domestic relations. And I remember probably one of my most default thought was, sadly, fill in the blank person thinks they're the first person who came up with this story. because there's so many indicators that go back to probably what we all might be capable of.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Daniel. Anybody else with thoughts on this area? Ms. Hobbs?
My son is a corrections officer at the Lebanon prison.
She gone.
He just started a couple of weeks ago, so it's not like he's been there for years. So
Okay.
I just wanted
She's gone.
to make that known.
So the
just-
victim in this case
but
works
it doesn't,
there.
like, make me biased in any way.
Okay.
But-
Anybody else? Ms. Poland?
Yes, my grandson is a corrections officer too, but I have no bias, but just letting you know that.
This guy.
Okay.
He's
Ms.
like,
Bruner?
can I go with the bench trial again?
Say correctional officer, but I believe I can be impartial.
She was.
Okay. Anybody else on this issue of Mr. King's status as an inmate? Now, also,
He's in charge of assaulting
when we
a
have
corrections officer.
a defendant that's under detention, we have some security measures that are in place. These are not specific to Mr. King. They are the same at every trial that we have involving somebody who was charged with a criminal offense. Can we all agree and assure me that you are not going to consider any of the security measures, things like shackles, the deputies, the corrections officers in the courtroom, that those have no place as evidence and they are not part of your deliberations? Can everybody agree with me on that? Just treat them like the furniture. They're just here, help make things better. Finally, on this issue, sometimes people have a tendency to think that the prison has its own set of rules and that we should not care what goes on behind the prison walls because we don't know what it's like and they have their own sort of code or rules. The law is the same. Which side of the prison wall that you're on does not matter. We are all bound by the same rules. Is this something that we can understand and accept? Sort of leave the concept of prison justice, street justice. We'll just leave that to the movies and TV. Can we do that? All right. Is there anybody who thinks that they would not make a good juror in the case? Other than what we've already talked about. You don't have to keep bringing that same thing up over and over again. The attorneys are taking notes. They'll probably have some more questions about that for you. I just started asking that question middle of last year. And for the first time on my last jury, I have somebody raise their hand that said, I wouldn't be a big juror, a good juror. It was an interesting conversation. All right, so first we have Mr. Haslett. You're employed as a diesel mechanic for Warren County Diesel?
Yes, sir.
And is it just you? How big's the operation at Warren County Diesel?
Mechanics, we're short today.
How many?
3 mechanics and I'm one of them, we're short today.
Okay. You indicated,
Lebanon's fire trucks and Franklin Township plow trucks and Franklin City trucks. We're short-handed today.
I can work it,
Okay.
Judge, but we're not going to plow your street tomorrow.
have you ever been convicted of a crime other than a minor traffic offense? You indicated on the jury questionnaire that you had. Tell me about
I
that.
don't know if it was convicted or not, but I've been charged.
Okay. What kind of crime was that?
Aggravated menacing, domestic violence.
And when was that?
I don't know, 25 years ago maybe.
Anything about that?
I've been beat up by the police officers 2 times in my life, and I'm nervous as heck being in here today.
Okay.
I've never gotten rid of that, and nothing was ever done about it, but once in Franklin and one in Warren County. And I'm not nervous being here.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, I can assure you, Mr. Haslett, you are in no danger from the law enforcement officers that are here.
Yeah.
And what I will also tell you, Mr. Haslett, is we kind of like having some jurors on occasion that are a little skeptical of law enforcement. That's not all.
I'm doing work after this still, so the sooner we're done, the better it is for me. I still have to put in 8 hours today.
No, you
So
don't.
I sort of get the impression, Mr. Haslett, that you are going to keep talking until I dismiss you from this jury. No, that's okay. I just need to know. I have some people who, if things are tough on the other folks at Warren County Diesel, I mean, I apologize. There's not really much I can do about that. But if a jury is working a hardship on you, jury service, That I really do care about.
Yes, sir.
And if you have your concerns that are such that you're not going to be able to sit, I got a bunch of other people that will be able to do that for you.
I would love not to have to do this.
Okay.
My nerves are shot about it. It's a lot for me.
Okay. Any objection to excusing Mr. Hazlett?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hazlett. You're free to go.
Yes, sir.
Who do we got next?
Get those plows running. This is amazing.
So I told you that's our rule in jury service. It's always the farthest chair away.
I need the steps.
I need the steps, he says.
DeFacel? Am I pronouncing that right?
Defacel.
DeFacel. Okay. Were you listening as we did our voir dire?
Yes.
Any of the questions that caught your attention or that you would have raised your hand to?
The financial
Okay.
aspect, which I would prefer to just disclose to you.
Okay. All right. Come on up and we'll handle this at sidebar. Council approach, please. Yeah.
Moots, we are going to private. Private 3,
I'll
2.
put my bench conferences on the.
He says, I don't like my bench conferences on the record. So as he goes to private chat, this last gentleman, this has been an amazing open jury. A lot of times we'll see jury selection, in the cases where we are able to watch. And it's just a bunch of people just with zipped lips. And you're pulling teeth to try to get answers from them. This jury, not so much. First of all, obviously, with the prison, I think they've got 2 prisons right here. Local. There's a lot. It's a big employer in the area. And so a lot of people are connected to the prison, and we're finding that out as people say, yeah, I've got a son who started working there. I've got a family member there. I used to be one there. And this particular case is an assault charge of an inmate against a correctional officer or a corrections worker. He's gone. Whatever the excuse was, it worked. Up comes Hernandez.
Hello, Ms. Hernandez.
With the flannel, I think.
Ms. Hernandez, were you listening as we did our voir dire?
Sorry?
Were you listening as we did it? Any questions that caught your attention or that you would have raised your hand to?
No.
All right. You are employed, it looks like, as an engineer with P&G. What kind of engineer?
Procter & Gamble?
I work in the chemicals department.
Okay.
So I'm a chemical engineer.
Chemical engineer. That's pretty cool.
Any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us?
She sounds smart.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Gary, we've already talked a little bit. What does a program manager for the Air Force do?
So if we have projects, we manage it. An example would be F-22, as program manager, we'll make sure the contract meet all the performance, all the specs, including the F-22. Just give me that as an example.
Are you trying to boost our mics a little bit?
Because it went off
or-
voir dire when you change it. I
Oh,
didn't know
okay.
yours.
So we're back?
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah, that's my bad. All right, you indicated that you were involved in a lawsuit maybe involving a car accident. Tell me about that.
My daughter and wife, well, it was my daughter, but she was a minor, so my wife was, I forgot what it's called. But because she's a minor, my wife had to be involved, part of that lawsuit.
Okay, anything about that experience you think is going to affect your jury service? Other than what we have talked about, any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us?
No, sir.
Oh, you did indicate you, family member, a close friend, had been the victim of a crime? Tell me about that.
Yes, sir. Personal, my daughter was sexually assaulted
Okay, how long ago was that?
3 years ago.
Was there a criminal prosecution?
Now,
Okay, anything about that you think is going to impact how you decide this case?
no, sir.
Any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us? All right, thank you. Mr. Walls, you are social worker for Focus on Youth. What is Focus on Youth?
That's Your Honor. So I case manage emancipated foster children from about 18 to 21, kind of help them find apartments, teach them life skills, work on budgeting.
It's a cool job.
Trying to get them to the,
To adulthood.
be a productive adult.
Okay.
That's kind of what I do.
You indicated that you are related to, close friend of a law enforcement officer or prosecutor. Who's that?
Yeah, so my brother obviously is a corrections officer in Illinois. I do have a local judge on my block, Rob Fisher, but not
Rob.
And I've always had law enforcement friends. I have a law enforcement degree, so, but I still feel I can be fair and impartial. I mean, knowing police officers gives another perspective, and I also think through doing social work, I've learned other perspectives as well.
Okay. Any reason that you can't be a good juror for us?
I believe I'd be a good juror.
All right, thank you. Ms. Daniel, you are a pastor at Family Life Church? Where's that at?
Here in Lebanon, right
Oh.
up off of 48.
Everybody plug your
sorry?
business.
Right up off of 48.
Okay, well, what does that involve on a day-to-day?
Sometimes it's not that different than working in a law firm.
Okay.
With the things that you encounter. And it's dealing with people walking through crises, the best of times, the worst of times, the difficulties in life. It's not very often, unfortunately, that you get to be involved with some of the best things, unless it's just maybe the birth of a healthy baby. Pastoring is very different than just delivering a sermon. It's being involved in people's lives, helping them as they ask for guidance through life.
Okay, you indicated that you were involved in a lawsuit for a divorce. Usually domestic relations and what we do over here don't really cross over, but sometimes people get such a strong feeling about being in the part of the criminal justice system that it sort of relates to their divorce. Anything about that I need to be worried about?
Well, a lot of for me personally, I didn't have to get to the point of filing DV charges, but a lot of the cases that I worked on the other side of life did involve domestic violence cases as well. Lots of filings with that. It almost seemed like they became hand in hand before I left that part of life. Because emotions, are running high, and in trying to respond to, sometimes knowing when to help people be pulled off the edge, or then when to jump up and down with them. It's a fine line.
Okay. You also indicated that you were related to or a close friend of a law enforcement officer or prosecutor?
I have several friends in law enforcement, detective for Warren County, drug task enforcement agents.
Okay.
Some that attend our church as well.
Any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us?
I said, I just, all those years of the case experiences, I don't know that they won't affect that. We try to keep that sorted out, but you just have a lot of preconceived thought processes that you default back to after you've seen the same thing over and over.
Yeah, I mean, it is sort of an interesting mix, Ms. Daniel, because, we don't want a jury full of 8-year-olds who don't know anything and don't have any life experience. We don't want a jury of 16-year-olds who have a tiny bit of life experience and think they know everything. We want a mix of people who bring their own perspectives, and that's not always a bad thing. But again, thank you for being candid in that regard. Ms. Reed?
Yes.
You are Service and Support Administrator for Butler County DD?
Yes.
What does that involve on a day-to-day basis?
I am a case manager. I oversee the services of 35 individuals, adults with developmental disabilities, oversee their services, write their plans. Day to day, you never know the phone call you're going to get. Somebody might be in an emergency situation or need housing or stuff like that.
Okay, so this is like frontline, on the trenches kind of thing, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Broomer, you are special education at Princeton. What sort of work do you do?
Wow.
So, I'm a paraprofessional. I work with developmental disability kids, whether they need help eating, like if they have like a feeding tube, or need help in the bathroom, or if they need help with work, just a bunch of different.
Okay. You indicated that you'd been involved in some sort of civil lawsuit before. What's that?
Oh, I didn't even check that.
Okay. So
I didn't
nothing
check
that we
that.
need to be concerned about there? Any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us? All right. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Smith. We do cybersecurity for the Air Force?
Yes.
Hey.
I did.
Okay, now you're retired though?
That is correct.
Like really retired or retired and working harder than you ever did?
Wife keeps me busy, yes, sir.
Okay. How big was the team when you were working for the Air Force?
I worked in a 35-man office. There was like 10 IT people total.
All right, you were involved in a lawsuit regarding some financial?
Yes, sir.
What was that?
1993, 94, I was a lead case agent on at a geographically separated Air Force unit. There was allegations of monies disappearing and all that. During the course of that, we went after a subpoena.
Tell us a story.
My boss decided that instead of going through the military channels, we would go through federal grand jury. We went up. Prosecutor did issue a grand jury subpoena for the financial records. Unfortunately, he did not open a grand jury, which kind of left the subpoena null and void. And when the bank answered the summons, they also included information from other people's accounts when they copied checks and all this. This is back before it was all digital. So when that all came out, the subject of my investigation filed a lawsuit.
Okay. How did the lawsuit resolve?
The defendant won, or I'm sorry, the plaintiff won.
Okay.
I don't remember the military action. It's been 35 years ago. But in the course of the thing, DOJ took over my defense. So once they got involved, and I gave all my information, it kind of just disappeared from my radar.
Okay. Other than what we've talked about, any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us?
Others stated, sir.
Okay. Mr. McKenzie employed as a property manager for CBRE. What's that?
Yeah, CBRE is a company that I actually work for AT&T. So I take care of 107 AT&T sites all the way across Southern Ohio.
Okay, we need him.
When I say
Judge.
sites, I'm talking not the stores. It's the actual switch buildings that everything comes into 911.
When the internet goes down,
all your cell
he does
phones.
fix it.
I take care of everything from the grass to the roof of these sites.
Mow the grass.
All right.
And then
You
maintain the
indicated that
servers.
you have a family member, a close friend, or you have been the victim of a crime?
Yeah, my brother.
Okay. That we already talked about?
Yeah.
Anything else other than that?
No.
All right. How we doing so far?
Okay.
All right. Any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us?
I think I can.
All right. Well, again, other than what we've already talked about. All right, Mr. White, you do finance with Life Enriching Communities. What's that involved?
Life Enriching Communities is a senior-focused senior living.
Life enriching
We
or
have
life?
communities in
It's probably
3 different
life.
cities in the
Well.
state of Ohio. I'm involved with almost all aspects of the finance team, so from crunching numbers to financial qualification of new residents, budgeting, planning, analysis of new projects that we may be looking at.
Wife Enriching is
Okay.
a completely different company.
You indicated that you, a family member or close friend, have been the victim of a crime. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it took me a second to remember this, but when I was 6 years old, our family's car was stolen.
Okay.
So
I still haven't got over it.
just a small memory of that, but that's really it.
All right. Any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us?
No.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Poling, insurance claims adjuster
Yes.
for employer's casualty. What is that? You work as part of a team, or is it just you work from home? How does that work?
I work remote right
Okay.
now, investigate insurance claims.
Okay.
Primarily schools and municipalities.
You indicated that you, family member, close friend, have been involved in a lawsuit, personal injury. What was that about?
Yeah, it was Probably 30-plus years ago.
Okay.
I was involved in a motor vehicle accident where a vehicle went left of center and hit me head-on.
All right. You also indicated that you, family member, or close friend, have been the victim of a crime.
My daughter, and this is probably 15-plus years ago, a sexual assault that was not prosecuted or anything.
Okay. Any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us?
No.
All right. Ms. Hobbs, medical assistant, pediatric associates of Mount Carmel. What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
I work with children, I room patients, I give vaccines and make them cry.
Okay.
That's basically,
Kids cry
work
for
for
a
doctors
job.
and just,
Oh,
I'm a
my
clinical
goodness.
one, so I work mostly in the back.
Okay. Other than what we've already talked about, is there any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us? All right, Mr. Harrigan, product engineer from Makino?
Yes.
What does the senior product engineer, what do you do?
So we're a manufacturing technology company, primarily CNC milling machines. And what I mostly do is cost and feasibility analysis to support option quoting activity for our machines.
All right, any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us?
No, I don't believe so.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the questions that I have for you. I am now going to turn it over to the attorneys. They are going to have up to 20 minutes to talk to you a little bit more in depth about the things that we have talked about. They may have some questions for you. After that, you may be challenged for what's called cause. That means you sort of saw how that happens. We might have a discussion about that to figure out whether or not you can be fair and impartial based upon your responses. We also have, though, something called a peremptory challenge. Each side has the ability to exercise up to 4 peremptory challenges. That means they get to excuse a juror for any reason that they want to,
Or for no reason at all.
I wouldn't put too much thought into it if I were you. I have no idea why they exercise the peremptory challenges in the way that they do, but I wouldn't overthink it if I were you. Ms. Trainer?
Your Honor, may we approach real quick?
Sure.
Your Honor, when me approach says defense, we need more than 4. Basically, the entire jury right now, bar a couple people, used to be corrections workers or have family members that are corrections workers. This is a case where the defendant is accused of assaulting a corrections worker. We just think that we won't get a fair shot in this one. It's a tough one. Still bitter that I was yeeted from jury for cause. Oh man, it's terrible. It's terrible. And you have to be honest. That's the worst part. You got to be honest. You don't want to lie to the court about something to try to get on a jury. That would not be good. But
Ms. Bromer, you said you worked in the prisons for a while as a corrections officer?
Warren Correctional,
When was that?
2022 to 2023.
Okay. Do you know Mr. King?
He looks familiar, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
You're gone.
Anything stand out about maybe that familiarity? Have a just sort of general sense of anything?
That's an insight.
He just looks familiar to me.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, Ms. Trainer, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, she's gone. She is so gone. She's like, oh wait, you're showing video. That's me. That's me in the video. I
All right.
forgot
Good
about
morning,
that.
ladies and gentlemen.
He recognized her. Yes.
As the judge has stated again, just to remind you, my name's Amy Trancher. I am
Hi, Amy.
one of many assistant prosecutors who work for Mr. David Fornshell. He is your elected prosecutor. I am one of his assistants, so I will be handling this case today, representing the office. We have kind of gone over, if you know me, I don't recognize any of you, but does anybody know anyone who may work in the prosecutor's office in any capacity? Legal assistants, victim advocates, any other prosecutors? No? Okay. Just to tell you a little bit about myself before I start delving into you guys, I've been doing this for about 25 years. Spent the vast majority of my career in Hamilton County as a prosecutor. Came up here about almost 5 years ago now and have been doing this job up here. Best decision I ever made, I gotta say. So, I've got many family members, actually married into a family of lawyers, so if my last name sounds a little bit familiar, you may have heard somewhere along the lines, my husband's a lawyer, my brother-in-law's a lawyer, father-in-law's a lawyer, uncle-in-law's a lawyer, so the
So if we haven't worked for you,
name
we've probably sued
may
you.
ring a bell in some capacity. Judge has gone over a lot of basic questions, so that leaves me to kind of delve into the meat of things, right? So what I want to tell you, first of all, is this process, a trial, there's a lot of safeguards in place that ensure that the defendant gets the right to a fair trial, as well as the state, right? Everybody heard of the presumption of innocence?
Is that a
Innocent
question?
until proven guilty. Anybody not heard of that concept? Okay, so that's kind of the first safeguard that's in place.
Unless proven
Second safeguard, judges touched on a little bit, and that's the burden of proof. Burden of proof is on me as the state of Ohio. Representing the state of Ohio, I have to prove to you beyond a reasonable doubt each of the elements of the crime. Every crime in Ohio is made up of elements, okay? And we're going to go over those as we go along, and we're going to break those down for you so that you have the information that you're going to need to decide the case one way or another. Now, the burden of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt. It is not beyond all possible doubt, okay? You can never have proof beyond all possible doubt sitting as a juror, because the only way you can absolutely 100% be sure that something happened is if you're there to witness it. And if you're there to witness it, you're not going to be sitting in the box. You're going to be sitting outside waiting for me to call you to the witness stand, right? So jury service in and of its very nature is you relying upon strangers who you've never met to tell you what happened. Does that make sense to everybody? So part of that,
Judges.
another concept is that the defense doesn't have to present anything to you. And Mr. Engel's going to talk to you about that when he steps up here, but they don't have to prove any they don't have to present any witnesses. The defendant has a right not to testify, okay? But in some cases, and that'll be a defense decision, defense may call witnesses, okay? So if you're in a situation where a defendant or the defense calls a witness, is that automatically reasonable doubt? You're shaking your head for me. Dan, I don't know where my seating chart is. Mr. Harrigan, right? Mr. Harrigan, you're shaking your head. You don't think that's automatically reasonable doubt?
I don't believe so.
Why?
I think you'd have to hear what the witness had to say.
Okay. Would it make sense if I said it would be a question of credibility?
That's one factor, I think.
That's one factor of it, right? Because if that's automatically reasonable doubt, then anybody who's charged with a crime can just throw somebody up on the witness stand and give a different story as to what the victim or my witness might say, and then that's reasonable doubt, right? So you got to go back to the fundamentals of you got to judge somebody, a witness's credibility. Does that make sense to everybody? So
I think he's eating Oreos.
knowing that, Mr. Garay, am I saying that right?
Garay.
Okay, Garay. How do you judge somebody's credibility? In your everyday life, how do you judge, what tools do you have to judge somebody's credibility?
I have a magic 8-ball.
The background, right, based on what you've observed and their way of life.
In their way of life? Okay. All right. Mr. Smith, how about you?
We're constantly judging everybody we meet, okay? You're looking at body language, you're looking at tone, you're looking at eye contact, way of life. All of those impact on how we react to a person telling us something, whether it be a business person, a friend, a spouse, or a completely professional contact.
Or a judge.
Okay. All right. What if you've never met someone? Mr. White?
Then we wouldn't hear anything from them.
I mean, they say don't judge a book by its cover, but a lot of times it's how initial first impressions.
Initial first impressions, okay. How about if somebody's underlying motive? If somebody's got a motive to lie, would that help you judge somebody's credibility?
I think we all have motivations to tell tall tales about ourselves or maybe our accomplishments, so.
Okay.
I don't.
Maybe make yourself look
Yeah,
good, right?
and nobody's putting themselves down on a regular basis, so.
Okay.
Last word was in the mouth.
Ms. Daniel? How about if somebody's story is consistent with a set of facts versus inconsistent with other facts that may...
Well, as I kind of mentioned this earlier, if I see a set of facts that I've seen before over and over again with repeat patterns, that's a big red flag for me.
Okay. Anybody else have any ideas? Does that make sense to everybody? You got to look at these outside factors if you don't know somebody to judge their credibility, right? And kind of like Mr. Smith said, we do this in our everyday lives. We're constantly judging people and sizing up their credibility. Are they telling the truth? Are they not? You may not even consciously know that you're doing it, but it's a part of everyday life and meeting people and going through your everyday life. Does that make sense to everybody? So, jury service is kind of a two-step process, right? You're going to hear the facts, you're going to hear the evidence, and you're going to decide for yourselves what those facts are. You're going to hear people from the witness stand. You're going to see a few exhibits along the way. I'll tell you right away that there's some videos that are going to be played, okay? We've got some surveillance from the prison yard. We've got some footage from body-worn cameras that the officers wore. You're going to see all that. And at the end, after you decide what the facts are, Judge Oda is going to give you the law that's applicable to the case. So you're going to take that set of facts and you're going to apply it to the law as the judge gives you, okay? Now, what you can't do is, and we're going to tell you this again in the instructions, you can't bring certain things into this analysis, right? You can't bring your sympathy, you can't bring your biases. As the judge has already told you, it's not your job to analyze the facts on that. It's wrong to convict somebody just because you feel bad for a victim, and on the flip side of that, it's wrong to say not guilty just because you might feel bad for the defendant. Can everybody agree to do that? Leave your sympathy and your bias out. Anybody think you have a problem doing that? Another thing that's not your job is to determine or even contemplate what a potential punishment might be should a defendant be found guilty. That's not to enter into your discussions at all. Everybody okay with that? All right. Now, the judge has already told you that this is a 2-count indictment. All right. Count 1 is going to be felonious assault, which is knowingly causing serious physical harm to another person. And we're going to give you the exact definitions as to what serious physical harm was and everything, again, that you're going to need to know to decide the case. Second count is assault on a corrections officer, knowingly causing or attempting to cause physical harm, not serious physical harm, but physical harm to another. And the offense occurred on the grounds of a state correctional facility. The victim was an employee of ODRC and the defendant was an incarcerated person at the time, okay? Those charges, and the judge is going to tell you, have to be considered separate of each other, okay? You are to consider them independent and decide each count should you be selected to sit on the jury. Now, as we've talked about, the location of the offense is at Warren Correctional Institution, and this was in July of 2024, so it's been about a year and a half or so since it happened. And the victim in this matter, his name is Jason Hall, goes by JT. Okay, he is a prison investigator. He's been a prison investigator for many, many years. at Warren Correctional Institution. Ms. Brummer, does that name sound familiar to you at all? Okay.
does.
Because how long were you a CO at Warren?
Only about 7 months.
Only about 7 months? Okay. Did you have any interactions with JT at all during the time that you were a CO?
Only through training.
Only through,
Okay.
so yes.
How so through training?
Like he like introduced us to like the area he worked in and explained his role at the prison.
Okay. All right. So was this in like a group setting kind of
Sounds so
thing?
gone already.
Okay. All right. So you individually, did you have any contact with him other than that training? Okay. Do you think that your contact with Investigator Hall would cause you any issue in being fair and impartial should you be selected to serve in this jury? No. Okay. Did you have any occasions of being assaulted by an inmate during your 7 months at Warren?
Assaulted, no. I have written tickets before, but
You've written tickets? Okay. Ever take part in like an RIB hearing or anything? No. Okay. Anything about your experience at all through your 7 months at Warren that you think would affect your ability to be fair and impartial?
I don't think so.
Okay. Think you would make a good juror for the case?
I believe so.
Okay. All right. Anybody else ever had occasion to be inside Warren Correctional or any prison for that matter? Not even necessarily as an inmate, but through either employment or tours or any other issue?
I did a project at Warren, actually.
What's that?
I did a project at Warren before I do now.
You did a project at Warren?
I used to be in
Okay.
commercial air conditioning and heating, and I did a big project at one of the buildings out there.
Okay.
Probably, that might have been early 2000s. It was a while back.
It was a while back. It was a while back. Okay. Were you actually inside
Yeah,
the
we had lunch with
facility?
them and everything, yeah.
Okay. Anything about that you think would affect your ability to be fair and impartial? Okay. And you, I'm assuming you would not know Investigator Hall just from your, okay. All right. Mr. Smith, I would expect that based upon your line of work, right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about what you did as an investigator.
So I was part of the Air Force Office of Special Investigations. We handled major violations of UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice. It included drug use, assault, same litany of crimes. We also did economic crimes and environmental crimes. I spent 15 years doing it, several of them overseas as a counterintelligence agency, which is also something we did. I testified in court martials, I wrote reports, I interviewed victims, witnesses, subjects, I was a detective.
I was going to say, you were, in non-military terms, you were just basically an officer, a detective, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so you've got a lot of experience.
Yes, ma'am.
And as the judge said, though, I mean, your experience comes with some of your investigations might not have panned out the way that you thought they were going to at the beginning?
That is correct.
Is that fair? Okay. Is it a correct statement if I were to ask you, or if I were to say it was your job or your duty to approach an investigation with an open mind?
That was absolutely mine.
Okay.
Our job was to gather facts, not make determinations on guilt or innocence. Okay, so in short, we provided information to the commanders who made the decisions on what action, if any, would be taken against the defendant.
Okay. And kind of performing the role of a prosecutor there, right?
The commander.
The commanders, yes, the commanders. So much like a law enforcement organization would submit a set of facts and evidence to our office here in Warren County, then the prosecutor is the one to make the determination as to how the case proceeds from there. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ever heard the term follow the evidence?
Follow the money.
Okay, what does follow the evidence mean?
Well, it doesn't matter what I believe, it matters what I see, okay? So if I've got evidence that says that it goes this direction, whether I like it or not, that's the direction we have to go, okay? We used to call it investigative theory, okay? What happened? So this is what I think happened, and you either prove or disprove it, and you keep doing it, and you follow the path. until you get to, okay, this is the best, I've gathered all the information I can, okay? And as you said, it's not beyond complete proof. Sometimes you just get the facts that you get and you submit them. But like I said, during the course of investigation, we went the way that the evidence went, not the way we wanted to go.
And you as an investigator, I mean, you didn't have any stake in the outcome one way or another, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Follow the evidence, and the evidence leads you to hopefully the right conclusion, right?
To the answer. That's
To
what we
the
look
answer,
for.
right, regardless of your personal opinions or thoughts or feelings, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Does that make sense to everybody? Everybody kind of get that? Was there any other hands that had went up as far as having any experience with the prison? Okay. I know we have had several people raise their hands and say they've got relatives or whatnot who have been or currently work in a prison somewhere. I did write some of these down. Mr. Waltz, right? You were one of those. Your brother's a prison guard in Illinois?
Yes.
Okay. Have there been times where he has been assaulted by inmates where he was working? Do you know?
Yeah, he's missed work and had to be off work for it.
Had to be off work because of it? Okay.
Some of these jurors are gone. Just dismissed for
And
cause.
do you think there's anything about that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay. Injuries that has he sustained any serious injuries? I guess is a good question.
No, mainly bruises, cuts.
Bumps, bruises, cuts, that kind of thing.
Stuff
Never
like
had to undergo any surgery?
He did not.
Okay. Ever had any broken bones, anything like that? Okay. All right. Who else were my jurors that had people working in the prisons? Okay. Let's start
Everyone
with
raises
Ms.
their
Poling.
hand.
Remind me who you had.
Your son.
A grandson.
A grandson, okay. And where does he work? Does he work locally or is?
Yeah, at the prison on 63.
Okay, there's actually two of them. So one of which we're talking about here, which is Warren Correctional, and there's another prison out there, which is Lebanon Correctional. Do you know which one he works at?
I think Lebanon.
Lebanon, okay.
I'm not
They're
100% sure, but
side by side,
Yeah.
right next to each other. How long has he worked out there?
Less than a year.
Okay, so not that long. All right. Do you know of any instances? Has he been assaulted in any capacity? Okay. All right. Anything about the fact that your grandson works in a prison that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial? No? Okay. And Ms. Hobbs, right? You had your hand raised,
Yeah,
right?
My son works at the prison in Lebanon.
Your son works, okay.
Yeah.
But he's only been there a couple of weeks.
Judge? Where'd you go? The live stream went down. Who broke it? Someone broke it. Fess up. Here's the problem. Here's the problem with this one. Let's try that again. Back up yet? No. The court doesn't know how to start it again.
Brummer. Anybody else? Anybody else other than Ms. Brummer?
I went to the gas chamber and boot camp.
Gas chamber and boot camp?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are all enjoyable.
Yeah, I can imagine.
We're back.
Anybody else besides a military, obviously Mr. Smith, besides a military capacity? Anybody ever just had it sprayed in your face? No? Okay.
Is it true the judge
All
shut
right,
down the live stream
well,
while he
I
put
gotta
the
wrap up
candy in
here.
his mouth?
So, the thing I like to finish with is we've talked a little bit about, jury service and how it works, and the fact that there are certain things that we ask that you guys leave at the door if you're selected, right? We can't bring your bias, you can't bring your prejudice, you can't bring your preconceived notions about what the case is about. But what we insist that you use is your common sense. Everybody on this jury, promise me that you have some level of common sense in some capacity that you've gained throughout your life.
It's not that common anymore.
Okay.
Brushing off the crumbs, Judge.
We ask that you use that common sense that you use in your everyday lives in making decisions that are important to you in your day-to-day life, that you use it when you retire into the jury room. Everybody can promise me that they can use their common sense? Okay. I ran out of time with Ms. Hernandez. Can you use your common sense? Yes. You make me nervous because you're an engineer, I gotta tell you. So I don't have time to go into it with you, but you make me nervous. But you got some common sense, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you all. Appreciate your answers, and I pass for cause, Your Honor.
Mr. Engel?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Defensive line. So you're telling me all of y'all work for the prison, have worked for the prison,
Good morning,
or know
everybody.
someone who works for the prison. Is that correct?
I get to speak at you last.
Yeah, we're screwed.
My name's Josh Engel. I am an attorney working here in Warren County and elsewhere in Ohio and around the country. I like to say I don't have a boss who's an elected official. My boss is the Constitution. And does everyone understand that's my job here, is to defend the rights of people? And Mr. King, everyone understands he's innocent, right? As we sit here? Innocent until proven guilty? I should back up a second. I haven't represented anyone or anyone's family or anything like that. And I worked for a bunch of years as a prosecutor. I didn't prosecute anyone's family. That's happened before. No, that's all good. I want to make sure we don't know anybody on some of the witnesses here. Does anyone know, let me give you some names. A couple corrections officers, Carl Ellsworth, Matthew Cheek. Yes, how do you know them?
I worked with him.
Worked with both of them?
Just Cheek. I don't recognize the other.
Okay, how did you work with Mr. Cheek?
I was a CO with him.
Okay, and this is when you were working at Warren?
Yes.
How long did you work there, by the way?
I worked there about 7 months.
7 months. What kind of training did you go through to work there?
I went to CTA in Columbus and then on-the-job training.
Okay. Did some of that training involve use of force?
Use of force training, yes.
Okay, and use of chemical spray as well?
Yes.
What kind of chemical spray did they give you?
Just like a
OC.
little can of OC spray.
What is OC spray?
I don't know what it's made out of, but it's just pepper spray.
Okay. And why don't you work there anymore?
It was too draining for me.
Okay. Did you have any disciplinary problems there?
No.
Let me back away from there. I know a couple of people were military and Air Force, just making sure we don't know anyone. Come from military family, both more importantly for you guys were all Air Force?
I was Marine Corps.
Marine Corps, okay, I didn't know anyone Marine Corps. But Air Force guys, did any of you guys know a Captain Struve at Offutt Air Force Base, who was there? Any of you guys serve at Offutt at all? Okay.
Just trying to drop names. Everyone's like,
Just make
nope.
sure we don't have any connections there. That would be improper. So, as I said, my goal in the next few minutes is to get you guys talking. Later in the trial, I'm going to talk at you more than you want to hear. So this is your chance to talk at me and let me know what you think. So I appreciate that, and I hope no one thinks I'm prying or putting them on the spot or anything like that. So the first thing I want to get out of the way is obviously Mr. King has a criminal record. Does anyone have a problem with that? The fact that he's got a criminal record?
Mr. King's not so keen on it.
Mr. Harrigan, you okay with that he's got a criminal record in terms of evaluating his testimony?
Yes, I think I can set that aside.
What would you do to kind of put that aside?
Really, I think in this case, not really knowing what that record is, that makes it easier. I believe there wouldn't be any kind of prejudice there. So really just trying to focus on the facts of this particular case.
And Ms. Hobbs, are you okay with that too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mr. King's
So
rattling his
if he gets
chains.
on the stand and he testifies, you think you'd be able to listen to his testimony just like everybody else?
Yeah, we're not like looking at his past, we're looking at like what's presented before us. You know, it has nothing to do with his past criminal record.
I mean, does anyone believe that just because someone's in prison, they're more likely to commit crimes again? In other words, you could look at each case on their own. Mr. Smith, you have an opinion about that, I know. Share it with us.
Well, I mean, I think if you look at studies, and let me be fair, Mr. King, okay? I have no knowledge, any idea about the crime, but I think if you look that there are reoffenders that had all the time, okay? Sometimes it's the circumstances that they get put in, is they start going down a bad road and they don't come out of it, okay? Not necessarily their fault, that's just their life situation, okay? But yes, it does happen, and it does happen.
People get rehabilitated too, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna, since you've talked a lot, I'll pick on you for one other thing. As an investigator, are you familiar with the term confirmation bias?
I'm sorry, sir?
Are you familiar with the term confirmation bias?
I have heard the term, but I'd ask that you explain it.
Sure, or tunnel vision for investigators?
Yes.
Okay, what is that, your understanding of that term?
You ignore the evidence, okay? You've got your idea of what's going on or what happened, and that's what you're trying to prove, ignoring the evidence, just like her question earlier about follow the evidence. The evidence needs to take you where it goes, and evidence is, you know, facts,
Little
proofs, whatever it may be. But if you lose track of the evidence and you're following your own personal, this is what I think happened, then you're going to lose.
Okay. And that makes sense. Mr. McKinsey, does that make sense to you? I see you nodding your head a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. And at some point in this trial, you're probably going to hear from one of the investigators at the prison. What would you expect them to do as they investigated the case at the prison?
What do you mean, do?
That's a terrible question. But would you expect them to look for wrongdoing for anyone who's involved in the case?
Yeah.
Okay. If there was an allegation, for example, that a corrections officer used excessive force, would you expect that to be investigated as well?
I would expect that his cameras would have been on like they're supposed to be, first of all. If not, then you have to go another route. Then you're looking for other people that will be, somebody else seen it. You know what I mean? You have to go that way. But I have a couple friends who are LCI guards, and it's not easy. It's not an easy job. They got to wear these cameras constantly, all the time. So it's not likely to happen that something would happen and nobody's seen it or has proof of it. You know what I mean? It's really not that likely anymore.
I mean, would you understand that the job of the investigators at the prison is to look at wrongdoing not just by inmates but also by potentially guards?
Yeah.
Okay. Does that make sense to you, Mr. White?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So if an inmate, for example, said, "Hey, this guard used excessive force against me," what would you want to see an investigation of that?
I would think that's what should happen.
Okay.
I don't personally know, but yeah, I would think that would be just like outside the prison walls. Officers outside of just walking around our daily life, I would expect them to be investigated if wrongdoing was suggested.
Okay. And that's an excellent point. I wonder if you could expound on that a little bit, that, you know, just because someone's in prison, that I assume you agree doesn't mean that they can be just beat up or abused or anything like that, right?
I think Judge Oda kind of gave us that instruction earlier that the fact that Mr. King's in prison, the Constitution or rights and rules still apply to him within prison as if he were, just like if he was a citizen walking around on the street. So,
Have you ever heard of, or is anyone, I'll start with you, Mr. White, asking if everyone, have anyone heard of the Stanford Prison Experiment? The Stanford Prison Experiment?
It's a crazy thing.
I believe I've heard of it, but I can't recall.
an experiment? I see a nodding head. Mr. Garay, is it?
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I wouldn't be able to explain it.
Okay. Anyone else heard of that term? Yes, ma'am. What have you heard?
Corrections officers are really terrible to the inmates. Sorry. The correction officers were terrible to the inmates, which they weren't really inmates, but they were pretending to be inmates.
They were pretend correction officers,
This was an
but
experiment
pretend
back
inmates.
that's called Stanford Prison Experiment, Stanford University, where a class was divided into half the people were assigned roles of guards and half the people were assigned roles of inmates. And after a few days, the experiment had to be stopped because the people who became guards became very abusive of their authority and the like. Does that make sense? Have you ever had an experience where people were abusive of their authority?
You're asking me?
Oh, I'll ask you first. Yeah, sure. Mr. Watt, yeah.
I mean, sometimes I wonder, I'm a father of two boys, and sometimes I wonder if I'm sort of abusing my authority over them, so. Yeah,
I abuse my authority with my kids all the time.
I think it's very easy to perhaps somebody to be in an authority role and then tip over the edge sometimes, so it's almost an exercise in stopping yourself from doing that.
I saw some of our military people talking back and forth. They ever had an officer who was kind of abusive with their authority? Yeah, a Marine Corps guy.
Drill instructors.
Drill sergeant? Yeah. So tell me about that.
Name
Not much to tell. You just do whatever they say as fast as you can do it. It's not really abusing the privilege. It's teaching you, basically.
Yeah.
It comes into the same thing.
Well, it's different, right? There's a difference between being tough and teaching you and abusing your position, right? You could feel that, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to describe, right? Mr. Smith, you're nodding your head.
But the difference when you signed up for it, you know.
Okay.
So,
yes, sir.
if you're asking me, what I would say is that authority needs to come with checks and balances, right? When you got authority, you've got lines that tell you exactly what your authority are, and we have checks and balances that are supposed to stop people from going past those lines. And it does happen, but that's why we have the checks and balances to investigate or convict as need.
And I know we had a couple people in the panel, let me see the hands again, who had relatives who work in corrections. Okay.
Yeah, like a lot.
Does anyone have a friend or close friend or relative who was incarcerated for any reason?
Yeah.
Okay.
Couple hands.
Mr. McKenzie.
I had an uncle, a long time ago. He's passed now, but he was for some kind of domestic abuse. I don't really know. I was probably on about 6. But yeah, he was incarcerated for I think 7 years. So let me, Ms. Hernandez, you've been quiet back there a little bit, surrounded by all these guys who like to talk. You've never had a friend or relative who's been in jail or anything like that?
No.
Okay. If you did, if you had a family member in jail, how would you expect them to be treated?
With respect, she says.
When you say with respect, what would, unpack that a little bit. What do you mean by that?
They shouldn't be like abused or anything.
And if you could speak up just a little bit for us?
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Like, they shouldn't be abused. They should be treated like well, like within. Like I've never been in a prison, but I'm sure there's rules and standards on how they should be treated properly.
You wouldn't be surprised to learn in the prison there's probably lots of rules about what things people can do, right? And how they can dress, right? So if someone were to come in here and say, hey, there's a certain rule or policy, would you expect them to be able to point it out to you?
Yeah, like in a document. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how would you feel if you heard that someone was just making up a rule to harass an inmate?
That's not right. Like, that wouldn't be nice.
Still can't with you.
Oh, sorry. Like that wouldn't be nice of them to like make up something to like treat you a certain
She said
way.
that's
They should
not
be
right.
Following like what has been set in like whatever document the rules or standards are in.
And Mr. Waltz, following up on that, do you think it would be okay for a guard to threaten to use force against someone to get them to follow a rule that they made up?
What?
Just like say that this could happen to you,
Yeah.
or say like, I'm gonna kill you or something. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of threat?
Well, what if they, held pepper spray right in your face and said, hey, if you don't follow this rule I made up, I'm going to spray you in the face?
I think it would depend on how threatened they felt at that time,
And,
in my opinion.
yeah. And so, would you feel comfortable with the fact that someone could defend themselves if they were threatened with that kind of excessive force?
No,
Why do you say that?
because it's a prison, there's rules, like, you follow the rules of the prison, right? Like, if my boss tells me to do something, I do it, or I risk losing my job. So I feel that if I were unfortunately incarcerated one day, I would do what the inmates, or the corrections officers suggested I do, rather than get into that situation in the first place. I'm not the kind of person that's gonna get into a conflict with, like, the police officer pulls me over, I'm not keeping my window rolled up. Like, I'm gonna have my ID ready, I'm gonna have my insurance card ready, and I'm gonna be as cooperative as possible. That's just how I am, so.
Fair points. All good. Do you have any problem with the fact that there are certain rules that govern how the guards are supposed to act too?
I do not have any problem with that.
Okay. And for example, the fact that their guards doesn't give them a right to threaten violence for no reason against an inmate.
Correct. Yeah, they should not be threatening violence, but just merely holding pepper spray as protection, I don't feel that's a big deal.
Yeah. What about in the example you gave the officer? If an officer asked you to step out of the car and then threatened to beat you unless you gave him
I do not
something.
think that's correct either. Yeah, I
So
don't think
that would be wrong too.
that would be wrong, yes.
Okay. You'd have a right to defend yourself in that crazy situation then, right?
Yeah, I don't know how well that would turn out for you, but.
No, maybe not, right? Yeah. And so, Miss Daniel, do you agree with that too? That there are rules that
Defense
should
against
govern
striking.
the corrections officers?
There's rules that should govern both ends, yes, but if I'm in that place of the correction officer, the subjection of what I'm viewing that might be, that could cause harm to me, and would it rise to the level of serious injury or life or death? And how many seconds do I have to make that decision, and am I going to make the right decision?
This guy is
So,
hosed. I'm sorry, he's losing this one.
If I feel the threat's coming towards me because someone has gone against that directive of what the rule is, there's a greater consequence for that.
That's fair enough. So would you be comfortable with the fact that the officers, because they have that power and authority, also have an obligation to try to diffuse situations?
Have an obligation to diffuse, yes, but again, in that instance, that split second of determination, when there's escalation that has already led to someone saying that to that person, how do you judge? How do you say what rises to the level of that person's going to disengage or I'm going to use physical force?
So
Is it going to be them or is it going to be me?
yeah. Do you think you'd be able to sort of listen to the testimony you hear in this case and judge that, on the merits of each individual case? Or do you think you're just naturally going to side with the corrections officers?
Not naturally. However, again, if a directive has been given, if there's a consequence for rules to be broken, and the reckoning of whatever that looks like will come in some way, time, fashion, or the other, not just in this scenario, but period. So am I willing to push past what has already been asked of me to not do, whether that person's right or wrong? If I push past that, then I'm taking on the risk of what consequence may come my way, even if it's wrong.
So do you think you're taking on the risk of, for example, the officers breaking your arm because you didn't comply with something they asked them to do?
Yeah, I do think you're taking a risk if you did not comply with what was asked of you that is breaking the rule. If that goes to the next step, there's a risk to be taken for that consequence of what that looks like.
this
Because
guy's
I don't have any
hosed.
control
I'm
over
sorry.
the consequence at that point.
So do you think it would be acceptable for an officer to break an inmate's arm because he didn't follow a rule?
Didn't say that.
Okay, so
But
what
I
are you
did
saying?
say-
Yeah, I'm trying to get what you're saying here.
But I
Yeah.
did say that if I've pushed past what has already been asked of me, there's a consequence for that decision.
Okay. And you used to work in a law firm, you said, right?
Many, yeah.
Many years. And did you do some criminal defense work?
Yes.
Okay.
Some.
Is it fair to say that the experience of people who work in criminal defense is that most of the people involved in the criminal defense system are probably guilty?
Was that my
Was that
experience?
your experience? Yeah.
Most of the experiences, yes, they were.
Okay. Did you have an experience to run into some folks who were wrongly accused of crimes?
Once in that trial, I never saw the outcome of that because I had decided after it was my time to leave that life. So I didn't see the outcome of what that was.
She
But
needs
yes, I
to
do
go.
believe that one person was wrongly accused.
Okay.
But I don't know what became of it.
Okay.
You're right.
And Miss Reed, you've been quiet back there. It's hard for me to see on the phone here. Do you agree with what was said before about the discussion of limitations on the ability of corrections officers to use force?
Yeah.
I mean,
I believe everybody has rights. On the inside, on the outside, the individuals I work with, they have rights. And I try to teach them that they have rights so that they can stand up for themselves, advocate for themselves.
okay.
Got about 1 minute remaining. Mr. Ayden.
Yeah. So I'm pretty much out of time. Any other reason, based on our discussion, anyone feel that they can't sit here and be a fair and impartial juror in the case? Yes,
I think
ma'am.
I can be fair and impartial, but it just occurred to me that I have another relative that works. I don't know if it's in one of those two buildings on 63, and I think he's in a place of authority, but he's a cousin that I don't have contact with, so I didn't think of him immediately, but no, it doesn't change my impartiality. I can be impartial.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, maybe we approach Your Honor.
You may.
All right. He's saying, I think we have cause to dismiss. I think we have cause. This is going to take a little bit longer. Let's see. But I give him like probably a minute and a half, 2 minutes on this. Let's see how long it takes him to say, I want all these people gone. Judge, can we start over? Maybe send out more requests further from the jail, from the prison. Because we basically have a jury pool made up of family members of prison guards on this case. And I'm sorry, I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can do that. You've got a case where he's accused of assaulting a prison inmate. And you've got a grandma in there whose grandson is a prison inmate. You've got a mom in there whose son is, sorry, not a prison inmate. A grandma in there whose grandson is a prison guard. A mom whose son is a prison guard. You've got a former prison guard who worked with the prison guard who was assaulted. You've just got so much in here. And the lady who worked in the defense lawyer or in the law firm, she is so jaded about the entire system. She quit. She's like, I can't handle this anymore. And she basically says, everybody I ever saw who walked in there for defense was guilty. Yeah, we might have an issue there. We might have an issue. Maybe we need a change of venue. Is that going to be that? But I do love how open they're being. Man, this is great. This is the way it should be. I realize that there's a high likelihood the more you talk, the higher the chance of you getting kicked off the jury. It just works that way. The two line up. You can ask anyone who's picked a jury. You're more likely to get kicked off if you talk a lot, if you answer a lot of questions. But man, they're being open. They're being honest, sharing their personal experience, sharing their professional experience. I think we've got a handful of them. At least 4. I can tell you that. At least 4 are leaving this jury, I think. But you wonder who you're going to get. And if you use your 4 challenges, who's next? I would not be proper for this jury just because I took classes in corrections. Let's see who they excuse here. We've also got a SOV sit that happened this morning over in Minecraft Court that Josh has found for us. So we've got that to watch today as well. Kara, honey, going to use this to tell my daughter, Sky, it's time to brush her teeth. Okay, Sky. you got to keep those pearly whites. You've got to protect them. You got to brush them. You don't want to be going to the dentist for remedial care. What that means is fixing it once it's broken. Broken teeth are no fun. They hurt real bad, and it takes forever for the dentist to fill it. And when he does fix it, that part hurts too. And you don't want shots in your mouth, do you? To get like crowns and implants. That's what happens if you don't brush your teeth ever. You're going to end up with implants.
All right, if you could be seated, we're back on the record. Ms. Brummer, I'm going to thank and excuse you. You're free to go at this time. Who's next?
Daniel Weissong.
So we just released one out of that for cause.
Hello, Mr. Weissong.
Please be the flannel guy.
If we could scoot you over one more, Mr. Weissong. We got to leave room for our prospective alternate. All right, were you listening as we did our voir dire this morning?
Yes.
Any of the questions that caught your attention or that you would have raised your hand to? Any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us?
No, I do have an appointment. I would like to come up.
You have
I have an appointment.
Oh, an appointment?
Later today.
Okay, all right, come on up.
I've got a court case. Go in sidebar again. Wants to take it sidebar. He's got a medical issue. So, bet we lost the legal office woman. I don't remember what her name was, but it sounded like we did. She was quite jaded. Scare the crap out of Sky. Get her. Oh man. She was a bit hostile. You think it was a former colleague? I don't know. I think they would release the all defendants are guilty lady before they release.
I know from a club.
All right, who's next?
Desi. That was quick.
That was quick.
Good morning, Mr. Howell. Were you listening as we did our voir dire this morning?
I was.
Any of the questions that caught your attention or that you would have raised your hand to?
No, sir.
You indicated that you have some jury service before, back in 2019. What kind of case was that?
It was I believe it was a parole violation for a sex offender.
Okay. Assuming that you remember any of the instructions, can you disregard anything you might have been told? Listen to my instructions in this case?
Sure.
All right. Any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us?
No, sir.
All right. Ms. Traynor, do you wish to inquire of Mr. Howell on a cause standard?
Now they just asked Mr. Howell questions.
We're still at morning. Good morning, Mr. Howell. Don't feel like I'm picking on you at this point, but I am. Okay. Had the opportunity already to speak with everybody else, so we can only direct our questions to the new person, right? So no concerns at all? Okay. Any personal experience with any type of jail or prison or institution at all?
No.
Okay. You heard Mr. Engel's discussion about prison rules and whatnot, right? Because you were listening closely. Why do you think it's important that inmates have rules they have to follow in a prison?
Without rules, there's
chaos,
I guess. You know, everybody's got to follow the rules. So it's the same reason we have rules on the outside. You've got to follow the rules or there could be chaos.
Okay. Could it be a safety concern?
Of course.
For not only the people who work there,
for everybody.
but the other inmates as well?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. And you realize that part of those rules are that inmates don't have the freedom to come and go as they please?
Correct.
You okay with that? All right. Any other concerns that you can think of that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial if you're chosen?
Ma'am.
Okay. I have no further questions for you, Mr. Howell. Thank you, and I pass for cause, Your Honor.
Mr. Engel, you may inquire.
Ms.
Mr. Howell, following up on the prosecution's questions, does it surprise you that there's rules for the corrections officers as well?
Of course not.
Why do you think it's important that they have certain rules they have to follow?
The same thing I said, that without rules, there's chaos. So they don't get to make their own rules. Someone determines the rules, they have to enforce them.
Okay. And do you think it's important that they follow rules designed to prevent them from abusing their authority and power?
Of course.
I have no other questions, Your Honor. Pass for cause.
All right, does the state wish to exercise a peremptory challenge?
No, Your Honor, state is satisfied.
Mr. Engel, does the defense wish to exercise a
Yes,
peremptory
we do.
challenge?
Yes, Your Honor. We will thank but excuse juror number 4, Ms. Daniel.
She gone.
Thank you, Ms. Daniel. You're free to go.
Deborah Butts.
Miss Butts, welcome.
Good morning, Ms. Butts. Were you listening as we did our voir dire?
Yes.
Any of the questions that caught your attention or that you would have raised your hand to?
Well, scheduling, I was hoping to make it to work at noon today, but I can make a few phone calls if I need it.
You were hoping to make a what?
I was hoping to make it to work at noon.
Oh, okay.
That's not gonna happen.
That seems
but
unlikely.
I just have to make some phone calls.
Okay.
If I'm here.
Okay.
If I'm here all day.
What's your work?
All right, other than that,
One question that was just recently brought up. I had a family member in prison about 10 years ago. It was short-term. It wasn't for a very long time,
okay,
It was at least a year.
but that's all.
okay. Any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us?
No.
All right, Ms. Trancher, you may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Butts, was that a close family member?
Yes.
How long ago?
About 10 years ago.
About 10 years ago. I think you said that. I apologize. I was writing. And do you know what they were in prison for as far as a charge?
Yes.
And if we're getting too uncomfortable, we can go sidebar if you're not comfortable answering out loud.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Can we approach that?
Sure, come on up.
Come on up. Sidebar it is. All right. I think the defense is going to release 3 more from this pool. That's all they can. Wrong answers only. It is going to get close to lunchtime. We're not going to hear opening statements on this one until after lunch. Just as a reminder, tomorrow we start our new trial. We're going to the au pair trial. It's in Virginia. And buckle up. It's going to be a little bit spicy, but we're all adults. We can handle it. It's a murder trial. That's what we're there for. Not necessarily the websites and things that are going to get named there. So just buckle up. That's going to be happening. Probably not one you're going to bring the kids to. If you do watch with kids, maybe a park day would be good for them.
There we go.
Okay. Ms. Butts, is there any other concerns that you can think of that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial?
No.
Okay. And the situation we spoke of, sidebar, I just want to make sure that there were no incidents during that time frame?
No.
Okay.
Other than what I mentioned.
Oh, sure. No, absolutely. Absolutely. But no other incidents with inmates or guards or anything like that. Okay.
Okay. Now we're curious. Gonna pass for cause?
Okay. Okay, I don't think I have any further questions for you. Thank you for your time, and I will pass the witness, Your Honor.
No questions, Your Honor.
Does the state wish to exercise a second peremptory challenge?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
State's still happy?
Mr. Engel, does the defense wish to exercise its second peremptory challenge?
Yes.
Your Honor, the defendant will thank but excuse Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. You're free to go.
Knew that was coming.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Hello, Ms. Maples.
Miss Maple or
Ms.
Miss
Maples, were you listening
Maples?
as we did our voir dire?
Yes, sir.
Any of the questions that caught your attention or that you would have raised your hand to?
Other, maybe that I
Keep your
served-
voice up if you could.
Sure. I served on grand jury duty.
Oh, okay.
Warren County, I believe it was 2024, and we did a site visit to the new jail here. Would be the only thing I would
Okay.
comment on.
All right. Any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us?
No, sir.
All right. Ms. Tranchi, you may inquire.
How was grand jury?
Yeah, every once in a while, you get lucky and be part of that group that has to do the jail tour, right? What'd you think?
First time I've ever been in that environment. It was not comfortable.
Well, it's not the Hilton.
Yeah, it was just, it was very interesting, and the experience has stuck with me. Probably just because it's so removed from what would be my daily life experience.
Sure, new experience for you?
Absolutely.
Never seen the inside of the facility before. Sometimes it is a little eye-opening, we'll say.
Very much so.
Right? Nice facility though, right? Brand new jail?
It was very, very, very clean. I mean, that was like, it's like, dang, okay?
They do
But
have
yeah, I suppose.
a captive audience.
Not someplace that you'd want to visit.
I would
a
never
repeat
like
visit
to go back in there again for
All
any
right.
reason.
Okay. Did you have any interactions with any inmates or
No.
corrections officers or anything?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. And in spite of that, you can be fair and impartial, knowing this?
Certainly.
Okay. All right. Did you get an impression of, we've been talking about rules and whatnot for inmates as well as officers who work there. Do you think you got an impression of why it's important that those rules are in place as part of that tour?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can you imagine a situation that may occur if an inmate's not following some rules?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Could I add to that also that I could see why there need to be rules on both sides?
On both sides?
Yes, for the inmates and for the folks who work there.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely. I think that is 100% correct. Well, let me ask you about this, because you listed on your form that you're a close friend or family member in law enforcement. Who is that?
My nephew, he is a deputy U.S. Marshal.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a cool one.
And where does he work?
He
All
is
over the
in
US.
Cleveland.
Cleveland?
Mhm.
Okay. And is there anything about your relationship with your nephew you think that would affect your ability to be fair and impartial? Okay.
Yes, and they make animals out of your
right.
sheets, your bed sheets.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Maples. I don't have any further questions for you. Pass for cause, Your Honor.
Mr. Engel?
No further questions, Your Honor.
Defense pass for cause?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, now about
Ms. Tranter, does the state wish to exercise its
Peremptory.
third peremptory challenge?
No, Your Honor.
State's been
Mr.
good
Engel,
with
does
everybody.
the defense wish to exercise the third
I
peremptory
think they
challenge?
will.
Yes, Your Honor, we would thank but excuse Mr. Walls.
Thank you, Mr. Walls. You are free to go.
He's singing Lucky Man as he heads out of the courtroom. Defense has used 3 now. We're repeating the same process with the replacement, and then we'll also have the alternate to see.
Hello, Ms. Damrod. Were you listening as we did our voir dire?
Yes.
Any questions that caught your attention or that you would have raised your hand to?
I just have a scheduling conflict with my son.
Okay.
He has extracurriculars after school.
Okay.
And I'm his driver. So if we're not done by like 3:40, I just ask that I be able to make a phone call to him.
Okay.
Or something.
So as long as we stop and make the phone call, you can remain?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, make the call now, ma'am.
And then I know there was
You're
a
not
mention
gonna be.
about crime against a family member. I did have something. It was a couple years back, maybe like 4 or 5 years. I hired a window company to install new windows.
Well, name
and
them.
one of their workers stole my sister's wedding ring.
Okay.
There was a arrest warrant out for the person. I was a witness to that case. But it was all resolved.
Okay. Is there any reason other than what you just shared with me that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us? All right, thank you. Ms. Tranter, you may inquire.
Thank you. Is it Thamara?
Yes.
Okay. I see you're a substitute teacher. Okay. What grade or?
9th through 12th.
9th through 12th, so high school. And do you
Worst-
have
worst
something
ages.
that, like a specialty you go in on, or are you just kind of a whatever they need you for kind of gal?
I fill in, but my specialty is in arts.
Okay. Art teacher? All right, that's fun. How long have you been doing that?
Like interpretive dance or clay?
I'm going on my 4th year.
Okay. And what did you do before becoming a substitute teacher?
I was a realtor.
Uh-oh.
Sorry.
The judge hates realtors.
Sorry to call you out on that one. Just ignore the man in the robe, it's okay. Okay, so made the switch from realtor to substitute teacher. All right. Any concerns with any of the questioning that we've gone through all morning? Any experience on one side or another with having a family member who, or a friend who has been incarcerated or works in a prison? No? Any ties to law enforcement at all? No? Okay. You've got, you're kind of high school age, but fair to say that students are expected to follow a set of rules when they go to school? Okay. Why is that important?
Safety concern.
Okay.
And you have like so many other kids that you have to worry about. And it's a learning center, so you don't want to impede on that.
Sure. How many, when you go into a sub situation, how many kids is it typical that you have in a class?
So the district I'm in, it's fairly large, so there's about like 20 to 30.
Okay. And you're the only teacher in there? Okay. And have you ever had situations in your job where a student wasn't following the rules and it created some sort of safety situation?
Yes, and that's where we would make notes and we would call the resource officers in.
Keep your voice up just a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. So
We'd make notes
the
and call the
protocol for
resource
us
officers.
was to make note for the main teacher, so she was aware, or he was aware of the situation.
Okay.
And then we would have to notify the resource officers as well.
Okay,
come in
if the
and tase the
behavior persisted?
Yeah.
Fair to say?
Yes.
Okay, and you've had situations where you've had to call in a resource officer before?
No.
No, okay, but that's the protocol?
Yes.
All right. And explain to me, what's the purpose of calling in the resource officer?
So they can de-escalate the situation and hear the sides, like what had happened.
Okay, and keep everybody safe in the process, right? Students and yourself as well?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't think I have any further questions for you. Thank you. Pass for cause, Your Honor.
Mr. Engel?
You get the other angle of that question. What about the rules for
As a
teachers?
substitute teacher, why is it important to de-escalate situations sometimes?
You're thinking about the safety of the students, yourself, and you just want to minimize like whatever tension is being created between yourself, the students.
So as a teacher, you're the authority figure, right? Okay. But sometimes as the authority figure, if I heard you right, you play a role in de-escalating situations too. Okay. And why is that important?
You don't want to take sides in any situation. You want to hear both parties. And it's just, you don't want to interfere with other students' learning. So you try to de-escalate, get to the bottom of like, why did this happen? Okay, what can we do to resolve that situation from happening again? You know, you just want to, there's two sides to every story. So you just want to be open about it without jumping to conclusions. And so you just want to like, monitor the situation, prevent something from escalating to something that could have been avoided.
So if you were selected as a juror on this case, would you apply the same listen to both sides of the story approach?
Yes.
I have no questions. No further questions, Your Honor. We'll pass the cause.
She's good. But are you going to use your fourth?
Mr. Tranter, does the state wish to exercise its final peremptory challenge?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Engel, does the defense wish to exercise its final peremptory challenge?
One moment, Your Honor. The defense will would excuse Mr. McKenzie.
Thank you, Mr. McKenzie. You're free to go.
So defense has used all four, state used none.
Sure, come on up.
They each get one more, I believe, on the alternate. The next person, the next person in line says, "Can I just go straight to sidebar?" I think I'm not a good fit for this case for one reason or another. Could be anything. Could be I've got to take care of an ailing relative, or I'm the boss at work, and if I'm not there, everyone dies. It could be something drastic like that. So I've got 3 people on life support that require me to be there to change their oxygen. They're valid reasons. And we called the next one. Whatever it was, it worked. Please share with us your reason. Excuse me.
I think you said my name.
Patrick Lund.
Yeah.
Patrick Lund.
Hello, Mr. Lund.
Hello.
I think he's flannel. He's got to be the flannel guy. Could be something like, I currently have a civil suit against the Lebanon Correctional Facility. Yeah, you're out. You're gone.
Mr. Lund, were you listening as we did our voir dire today?
Yes, sir.
Any of the questions that caught your attention or that you would have raised your hand to?
No, sir.
You are employed as an insurance claims manager. What does that involve on a day-to-day basis?
Just denying people.
Or for an independent claims adjusting company, and we just handle property casualty claims. Had several employees that worked for me that went out and inspected losses, that sort of thing.
All right. Any reason you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us?
Yes.
There is a reason?
What's that?
Is there any reason you cannot be a fair and impartial
No.
juror for us? Okay. Ms. Trainer, you may inquire.
Yes. I don't do that.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Lund.
Hello.
What do you like to do in your free time now that you're retired?
Hunt, fish.
I do a lot of dog walking, play handball, golf.
Keep yourself busy, huh?
Try to.
What about
All right.
pickleball?
You've heard some of the questioning that we've had so far. Any concerns about anything that we've talked about?
No.
Any experience with friends, family, relatives on either the inside or outside of a prison?
Nope.
No? Okay. What is your spouse retired as well?
Yes.
Okay. And what did she do? What did she retire from?
She worked for Children's Hospital.
In what capacity?
I think CSR, customer service
Okay.
rep or something.
All right. All right. Okay. Mr. Lynn, I don't think I have any further questions for you. Thank you. Pass for cause, Your Honor.
Mr. Engel?
No questions, Your Honor. Pass for cause.
All right.
All right. You have the name of prospective alternate, please?
Scott Taylor.
It's a good name.
Mr. Taylor? We have a seat up here still for you. Mr. Taylor, the role of an alternate can sometimes be a little challenging and a little difficult because the alternate has to sit and listen to all the evidence, but sort of in the back of your mind, you may have it that you may never have to decide the case. You can think of yourself, if you're a sports guy, as the second string quarterback, sixth man on the bench. If you're,
I'm an athletic director.
okay.
That is my job, so.
If you're a theater person, it's the understudy, but whatever it is, we need you ready to go in the event that something happens to one of our other jurors. Is that
Put
something
me
you
in,
can do for us?
coach. Put me in.
Were you listening as we did our voir dire?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any of the questions that caught your attention or that you would have raised your hand to? Any reason that you can't be a fair and impartial juror for us? Ms. Tranter, you may inquire.
Your Honor, I have no questions. Thank you.
Mr. Engel, you may inquire.
No questions, Your Honor.
They don't care about that.
Does either side have a challenge for cause to the alternate?
Nope.
No, sir.
Ms. Tranter, do you wish to exercise a peremptory challenge on our prospective alternate?
No, sir.
Mr. Engel?
No, Your Honor.
They're good. Happy. We've got a jury.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who remain in the gallery, we never really know how many jurors we're going to need for any particular trial. I will tell you that we have all the jurors that we need. It is a complete disaster when we run out of jurors. We send a deputy over to Walmart and ask people if they live in Warren County. So we're not going to need your services anymore. It's an open trial and a public court. You are free to stay if you would like. Nobody ever takes me up on that invitation, so if you want to leave, now is the time. You can exit out the door, and I appreciate your being here. For those of you who remain, you are now the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. If you could please rise. We're going to administer the oath to you.
One more reason to skip the Walmart trip this week in Warren County, Ohio.
Swear, so help you God or affirm under the pains and penalties of perjury that you will diligently inquire into and carefully deliberate all matters between the state of Ohio and the defendant, Todd King, to the best of your skill and understanding and without bias or prejudice. Please say I do. You may be seated.
So we've been at it for a while this morning now, ladies and gentlemen, and I have a few more minutes of instruction for you, and then we're going to break for lunch. But again, I want to give you some preliminary instructions just so we get sort of oriented to how things are going to go. First of all, I want everybody to take a deep breath and relax. I know the jury service is a little strange, so a short explanation is in order. Like most things in life, a trial is governed by rules. The participants in this courtroom are bound by those rules. You and I are bound by those rules as well. The lawyers are going to present evidence. They are going to do this according to the rules of evidence and procedure. My job is to enforce the rules and determine what evidence may be admitted. Your job is to determine the facts and apply the facts as to the law as I give it to you. You are the sole judges of the facts, the credibility of the witnesses, and the weight to be given to the testimony. Later, I'm going to instruct you on the law, and it is your sworn duty to accept the law as I give it to you. The procedure for the trial is going to be as follows. Again, when I'm finished with these preliminary remarks, Ms. Kuroko is going to take you back into the jury room, get you a jury badge, then we're going to break for lunch and come back probably pretty close to 1:30. At that time, we're going to hear the opening statements. The opening statements are the opportunity that each attorney has to tell you what they think the evidence is going to show. It helps you put it in a little better perspective as you see it. If you're like me, nothing worse than sitting down at a movie or a new streaming series and you have no idea what it's about. Opening statements, they're like the trailers, coming attractions, give you a little better understanding of what's coming. After that, we're going to hear from some witnesses, first from the state, then maybe from the defense. Then we're going to have closing arguments, instructions of law. Thereafter, you deliberate and reach your verdict. I try to start as close to 8:30 as I can. We break for lunch generally between 12:30 and 1:30. We take an afternoon break in the 2:30 range. Usually we're done by 4:30 or 5. Try to keep things moving as best I can, but the presentation of witnesses and the evidence, they control the docket to some extent. It's important that you be fair and attentive throughout the trial. Do not discuss the case amongst yourselves or with anyone else. Do not permit anyone to discuss the case with you or in your presence, and do not form or express any opinion about this case until it is finally submitted to you. It may be difficult for you to understand why it is that we give this instruction, but you get the opening statements, the closing arguments, the evidence. You get all of that in a certain order for a certain reason. And it would not be fair for you to begin talking about the case before it is that you have everything that you need to make an informed decision. You are not to talk to the attorneys or the witnesses in the case at all, and they are not going to talk to you. We generally keep everybody apart for a trial, but you may run into Mr. Engel or Ms. Trader in the hallway. It's sort of an awkward encounter. They're going to look off to the side, keep going. You're going to do the same. We do this to protect the integrity of the proceedings, because if you were seen talking to one of the attorneys, even if you're just lost and looking for instructions to the jury room, somebody might see you from the outside, assume that you're talking about the case, and the appearance of a fair trial would be compromised. Do we have any smokers among us? Okay, because we do have a special area for that. Sometimes there's a crossover when it comes to that. Many of you may be users of or familiar with social networking sites, things like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I don't even know what they all are anymore. During the course of the trial, you are not permitted to post any aspect of this case on any social networking site or to the internet. This does not keep you from sending a text to your family member or an email, some sort of electronic communication, not talking about the case, but letting them know that you've been selected for jury service and when you might be home, but you need to wait until the trial is over to bring your Facebook pals up to speed. For those of you who have cell phones, smartwatches, any of those sorts of things, I used to say pagers, but I don't really think anybody has pagers anymore. You're going to need to leave all of those devices in the jury room while we are in session. You'll have access to them at the breaks, but I have found that the only thing more distracting than getting a text message during a trial is getting a text message that I don't allow you to look at. I do have an exception for this. If you use your phone for your hearing aids or to track your sugar or something like that, let me know that. Otherwise, you need to leave all of the communication devices back in the jury room. You are not to investigate this case or attempt to obtain any information about the case on your own, and it would be highly improper for you to do so. So no Google searches, no AI, no phone a friend. Everything that you need to know about this case will come from this courtroom. I'm going to try to remind you of these instructions at each recess, but if I forget to do that, they nonetheless will govern your conduct throughout the trial. During the trial, if you have a personal issue, some sort of problem, bring that to the attention of Ms. Carilco. She will bring that to my attention. During the trial, we're going to hear from witnesses, and each of those witnesses is going to be subject to direct examination. That's questions from the person who called them as a witness. You're also going to be subject to cross-examination. That's questions from the attorney on the other side. During cross-examination, I allow the attorneys to inquire into matters that are not related to their direct testimony. I do this to help you to determine what weight to be given to the testimony, so you can consider it for that and for no other purpose. During the trial, I may sustain or overrule an objection. You are not to draw any inference for or against either party from a question that I do not permit to be answered. I rule on the admission of evidence. Since you don't know what the answer to that question would have been, it's not fair for you to sort of guess what the answer might have been. Also, sometimes a witness will get the answer out before I sustain an objection. I'll just tell you to disregard it. You must treat that as though you never heard it. What the attorneys say in the case is not evidence, and it should not be taken by you as such. It's my job to require the attorneys to abide by the rules of evidence and procedure. You're not to draw any inference for or against either side based upon any admonition that I may make to counsel regarding their conduct in the case. After the presentation of the evidence, I'm going to give you the instructions of law. Then you're going to deliberate and reach a verdict. The deliberation process is not like going into the voting booth and casting a ballot. You will be discussing your position with your fellow jurors, and you will likely be called upon to explain what evidence you believe supports your verdict. A good juror is a good listener, but more than this, a good juror is an open-minded juror. Be careful not to immediately jump to a conclusion as to how this case should be decided, and then just listen for evidence or argument that supports that initial take. Listen to the evidence with a disposition of being persuaded and keep an open mind throughout the entire process. Your consideration of the case must be as free as humanly possible from any sympathy or prejudice and not influenced by any consideration of race, sex, religion,
Good luck with that
national
part.
origin, age, or disability. Some courts differ in their approach to allowing jurors to ask questions and to take notes. I allow my jurors to take notes. I don't allow you to ask questions. I'll let the lawyers handle the questioning. No juror is required to take notes, but if you do want to take notes, Ms. Karilka will get a notepad for you. You can jot down whatever it is that you need. Those notes will be maintained until you reach your verdict in the case. After that, then we will collect and destroy them. Make sure that you don't allow the note-taking to distract your attention from the testimony. Also, jury deliberations is not the test of the best note-taker. So if somebody writes something down that is not in conformity with the collective opinions of the other jurors, that's something that you need to deal with. Just because somebody writes something down doesn't make it any better or any worse than any other types of memory. Like I said, we will destroy these notes after the trial is over. We do have some security measures in place, deputies, officers, those sorts of things. They are the same for every case, and they have no bearing or place in your deliberations. It's important that you keep the same seat that you have now. I have a little seating chart, just like third grade, so make sure that you stay in the same seat that you have. Sometimes you may have noticed it is in my nature to inject a little humor into the proceedings, or try to anyway. I do this not to detract from the importance or the solemnity of what it is that we are doing. I do this because I think it puts folks at ease in an otherwise uncomfortable and unknown situation. So we are going to break for lunch. Let's everybody plan on being back in the jury room at 1:30.
All right, all right, all right. Lunchtime it is. We're going to lunch. 1:30 return means we get an hour and 15 minutes on the lunch break. I'll go ahead and make a portal to the afternoon session. Reminder, tomorrow we do have a new trial starting. It's the au pair case. It's going to be spicy. Buckle up. Bring your big boy panties. It's got some stuff in it. Probably not for kids, but it's going to be a very, very interesting trial.
All right,
I can't
we
wait.
are on the record.
Should last 4 to 5
outside the
weeks,
presence
according
of
to
the jury.
Tony.
At sidebar, we discussed 3 challenges for cause. The first was Ms. Hernandez, the second one was Ms. Daniel, and the third one was Ms. Bremer. We had a brief discussion about Ms. Bremer. The state initially had opposition to that challenge for cause, but then ultimately agreed that we would excuse her for cause. Mr. Engel, is there anything else you would like to place of record on your challenges for cause?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Well, I mean, I say anything else, anything, because our sidebar was not on the record.
Oh, yeah, I think in particular with, I believe it was Ms. Daniel, she gave a number of answers that I believe indicated that she could not be a fair and impartial juror based on her answers. In particular, the fact that she did not seem to be willing to follow what we would anticipate to be the court's instructions, that self-defense is available for excessive force in the prison institution.
Okay. Ms. Traynor, anything from the state?
No, Your Honor. Just interjection to the cause, obviously.
Okay. Mr. Engel, anything from the defense?
Yes, Your Honor, my client would like to note an objection on the record that there were no African Americans in the jury pool, and he believes that the jury pool is therefore not representative of the citizens of the state of Ohio, and he is deprived of his right to a fair trial.
Okay, the court will take judicial notice of our procedure for selecting jurors, which is to receive a file from the Board of Elections. We draw our jurors from the registered voters in Warren County, and I do not find there is any evidence that any particular minority group has been intentionally or systematically excluded from that process. All right, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, so
Judge says
1:30,
thank you, but
we'll
no.
get going on openings. And then we'll be ready to launch into our first witness.
Yes.
Do we still anticipate that we are going to finish the state's case today, or is that overly optimistic?
That's probably overly optimistic, I would say.
Okay.
We'll talk
All right,
fast,
because
man.
we have some scheduling issues on our folks that are coming tomorrow, right? Because I think they're coming at 10 tomorrow.
I don't have any folks coming tomorrow, so I can't answer that question.
But the people being transported?
Yes, the
Your Honor?
transport's from the institution.
Yeah, I think that should be fine.
Oh, he's
Okay,
calling
we'll
his
have to, we can
cellmates.
take them out of order. I don't really
He's
want to have a
calling
bunch
his
of folks sitting around waiting, but we'll play that by ear.
Yeah, let's see how far we get.
All right, anything else?
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right, we'll see you back at 1:30.
All right, it is time for lunch. As the court mutes the audio, keeps the live stream up as this court always does. It's live 24/7. It doesn't hear cases during the night, but the live stream stays up. It's seriously, it's fun to watch until they turn the lights off. And the janitors come in, they clean, they dump the garbages, straighten the chairs, pick up lost items. It's good fun. We're gonna go to lunch. This trial that we're watching today is just a filler. Tomorrow we start our new big trial with the au pair case, and I cannot wait to get going. Hang on. Keep forgetting RA is an hour ahead. It's 12:20 right now. We're going to be coming back in about 55 minutes. So tonight, when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe until we go live again in just under an hour. We have a portal set up. Grab the hand of your portal buddy, make the jump. When you land, hit the like button to indicate you did arrive safely. We will be taking roll on my end. I won't be reading everyone's name, unfortunately. I cannot do that anymore. Some people would argue I was never successfully able to do it in the first place, but pronunciation is difficult. All right, you guys have a good lunch. We'll be back. The judge has said it's time to get some food, and I'm on board with that. So use your words. Use your words. Sorry. I ate a couple turtles because the judge was eating caramel, and now I need some milk, I think. I need some milk. So, guys, have a good lunch. We'll see you in a little bit. Bye-bye. Happy birthday, Asia. Is it Asia? Asia? Happy birthday. And what's the other girl? Brush your teeth. Brush your teeth. All right. Bye.
What more do you need to see?
Sky, brush your teeth. Elise, happy birthday.